Wait for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, broads, dames, and bros, welcome to the Midnight Drive with your three-armed hosts, your old pal, Tiki the Hut. Looks like some of you are even driving on the Midnight Drive. How absolutely perfect. It is awesome to see you guys again. I like it so far. Hey, so first week back, not too bad. 3 streams in a row. Hopefully you guys are liking the new time slot and the new look. Same voice, new look, you know. But hopefully you're feeling all the Gene Stealer culty vibes, the Vaporwave, the Miami Vice kind of stuff. I'm digging it. I'm loving it. I'm hoping you guys are too. Let's see who we've got in the chat. Hey, Russell, I've been loving your comments, man. It's almost like I get to watch the stream again with you while reading your comments. Dude, I love it. It's awesome. And I appreciate all the comments too. Jenny, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I love the 3-arm salute. Classic. It's looking great, guys. Oh, man. All right, we got some of the usual suspects in here. I like it. All right, so let's take a look. Look what we have here. I did some overtime today. I was actually working for a while. And it was light enough I was actually able to finish this guy. So take a look. Also, I got a kind of color changing light too, so it's kind of adding an effect. You'll see. You can see that like light kind of purpley red look. It's a light I have. Yeah, see, it just changed to blue kind of. There we go. We got the rims, the tires, the slats are done. We got the heavy stubber with like kind of a laser sight. We got ammo cans there. Blast cannon on top. brake lights. Now, and actually I'll keep that in frame because I want to show you what its brother vehicle looks like. Praise for him, Emperor. Love it, love it, love it. At work. I hope you have a good time at work. Tiki, the best announcer voice that intro made me feel like I was on an event. well, it is an event. It is our event. It's our midnight chow. It's our Gene Stealer Cult social stream. Basically, that's what it is. We chill and paint, and we paint and chill. All right, so we have this car right here, right? We have one quote-unquote Achilles Ridge Runner. So what I like is, regardless of the size of the vehicle, the height is still about right, and it's on the same size base. So, you know, it's nice and copacetic. Now here's an actual Ridge Runner, and this has that color changing paint job I have, where it's kind of blue and purple. You can see the spotter hanging out up there. You can see the twin heavy stubbers and the mining laser. So I think, what do you guys think? You think these, let me move these guys out of the way so I can get these vehicles a little more side to side here. Ooh. Love those little plastic guards when they're tough. Good thing too. Alright, so we have one. Then we have the other one. So what do you guys think? How do these look side by side? Think I smurfed it up? Think they look pretty good? Talk to me, Goose. What do we got? Hey, Russell, I didn't want to mention anything. I want to see if somebody would pick it up. I want to see if there was the Gaslands or Death Race fan out there, and you got it. Yep. He's exactly right. The card in the back, it's got that tombstone. So if you don't watch Death Race, I highly recommend it. Now, for those Gasland fans out there, if you haven't watched all the Death Races lately, I promise you there's a certain way to watch it. If you trust in the Tiki, I got you here. So you need to watch Death Race 2, then Death Race, then Death Race 3, and then Death Race Anarchy. Did I have that right? No, I'm sorry. No, it's Death Race 2. It's Death Race 2. Death Race 3, the one that's in the Baja Desert, or the South African Desert. So it's Death Race 2, Death Race 3, then the first Death Race, the one with Jason Statham, and then you watch Death Race 4. That's the actual, like, what you would call, like, canonical order. And when you watch it, it'll make sense on why I say watch it that way. It has to do with who Frankenstein is. So Death Race 2, Death Race 3, it's called Inferno, then Death Race to Jason Statham, and then Death Race 4. So Death Race 4 is called, like, Beyond Anarchy. I would watch it unrated, and it is exactly that. It is 100% unrated. So if you don't like naked women or like tons of gore and cursing, and you won't like it. It is deliciously depraved. Love that movie. No, I know what you mean. Yeah, so the white one, it is a little flat. I was thinking about that too when I painted it, but the reason why is I'm trying to get, I totally agree with you, by the way, but I wanted two cars. I wanted one white and one black to kind of mirror the whole Miami Vice. You know, he has the white Testarossa and he has the black knockoff Daytona. He has the black Daytona and he has the white Testarossa. So I wanted a full white one and I wanted a full black one. Yeah, so I know it's a little flat. The Jeep that Squidfist was nice enough to send me, I think this one's gonna actually just be purple, just straight up purple, kind of like, you know, Joker's Lambo kind of thing, you know. Hey, Matthew Gordon, howdy, what's going on, brother? Nice, yeah, these bases, man, I'll try and link them in the stream if I get a chance. They are worth their weight, man. They're awesome. They set the vibe. They set the vibe really well. Now I got to go back, and now that I know they're worth it, because I have 4 of these, you know, one for each Achilles that I'm gonna have. I'm gonna go back and spend the money to get them for all my bikes. I have a lot of bikes. That's gonna be a little bit more pricey, but I think it's gonna be worth it. But also, if you want a small piece of advice from me, not every model has to be on these specialty bases. You know, sometimes just these big bases are worth it because they're so much bigger and they look like it. So I thought I would also take this time and show you guys, because some of you are kind of new to the stream, which is awesome. Welcome to it. Welcome to the chill, you know, the midnight drive. It's our super chill, laid back, 40K chill wave style stream. We're trying to bring back fun, relaxed gaming to 40K and other tabletop gamings. But mostly we're focusing on, you know, the Genes to their cult, only because there's plenty of Space Marine stuff out there. The orcs are always a healthy community. There's plenty of great orc streams out there. Now with the Genes to their cult, there's good channels out there, and they're very knowledgeable. It seems like they're both really good players. I'm talking about Von Carlson and Nexus Floof. They seem like great chaps, very knowledgeable. You know, they're in the scene. So this is for someone who's out of the scene. This is for more of the narrative and chill side. So that's kind of what the stream's for. But I want to show you guys some of the models we have. So I've enjoyed the Genes to their cult, because as you can tell, I get some models, you know, from the box GW style, and some I start kind of kit bashing or finding other stuff that I want on Etsy to kind of to build. You know, we have some that are, you know, boom, you got a seismic cannon, right? You know, you can't, not bad. You get some official GW ones right here. This is from the kill team. You know, he's a nice little cult icon. We get some small kit bashes, like taking Imperial Guardsmen and just swapping the heads, right? And then the way I saved a lot of money, Tiki, I was coming to my list in 10th. I will say jackals, if you can deploy them properly, are incredible. Yes, they are. I have done the double Oakland. I call it the Oakland Hello, when you do a drive-by shooting or a drive-by bombing. I've done the double Oakland Hello with my jackals. You know, the drive-by satchels, and then done the grenade stratagem or the explosive stratagem. That's a good way to get lethals. My only problem with jackals, I like them, but bringing them back with cult ambush can be a little bit of a sticky wicket depending on how you're running the map. But I still like them. But something I want to show you. So one way I've saved money getting into Genes to their cult, one thing I want to show you guys, is I go on Etsy, just because I don't have a 3D printer myself. If you have a 3D printer, it's even cheaper. But I go on Etsy and I find models that I like that match the theme that I want to do. And usually they're about, at most, $5, maybe $8. You gotta watch shipping though. Shipping will kill you. So I try and find one where like the shipping is like, hopefully here in the States, it's not too bad. So usually I try not to pay more than $10 a model, which it sounds like $10 for one model is insane. But GW sells them for like 30. So with the Genes to their cult, it's a great way to build up an army kind of cheaply. So we have, here's my Locust. Now remember, I do have a color changing light on, so you'll kind of see that light affect her a little bit. You'll see her skin kind of change. So Locusts, usually they have these arms hidden underneath the coat, you know, and they're basically like a bodyguard unit. They give the unit fights first, and they give whatever, they're a bodyguard unit when you attach to a squad, so they give whatever leader in the squad, I believe, a 5-up feel no pain. So for mine, you know, you can tell I give her the shorts and the bikini top. Yes, a lot of my models do have bikinis that kind of goes with the whole, you know, House Escher, Ganger, Necromunda, and the Miami Vice vibe. So she's actually, here, let me turn on the white light a little bit so you can see. There you go. So you can see she's actually a sergeant. Let's see, I think the light's kind of washing it out here. Give me a chance here. Ooh, actually, you know what? I have the ability to do this. Yeah, I can turn it off. Cool. So yeah, as you can tell, she is a sergeant. So again, mine have white pauldrons. So they wear blue body gloves or cut up, you know, like shorts. They wear leather jackets and they wear white pauldrons. So I just used some Gene Stealer bits, you know, to give her like arms in the back. So it's kind of like a very Sarah Kerrigan vibe, you know. Very cyberpunk, very Necromunda Vice. So that's one of my that's my Nexus on the right size base. Here's what one of my neophyte leaders looks like. So again, after reading the book Bloodlines, it's also huge shout out. If you do Audible, all the Black Library books are on sale right now on Audible. So usually like a credit is, you get like 1 credit a month if you have a subscription, or a credit's like $15. I think a lot of them are on sale right now for like $5 or like $4. So if there's a Black Library book out there you really want, or if you want my recommendation, I recommend Bloodlines. It's Warhammer Crime. It's super cool. So anyways, I kind of read that, and I got an idea. Yeah, there's also Dave Ascension and Cult of the Spiral Dawn. I think I like Cult of the Spiral Dawn better than Dave Ascension. Dave Ascension is Gene Stealers versus Admech, and Cult of the Spiral Dawn is GSC versus Guard and Sisters. Anyway, so this is a leader, so I try to go for a very like noir style detective. You can tell he's got his blue body glove, black armor, black little ammo pouch right there in the middle, shock maul for his power weapon, auto pistol. Very like, you know, Deckard kind of Blade Runner style. So that's what my neophyte leaders look like. They all kind of look like that, like investigators. So he's not done, but I'm going to show you my Warlord. I'm waiting on a box of House Escher upgrades to come in. It has a lot of House Escher heads with like huge mohawks. It has a lot of good weapons in it, like plasma rifles, plasma guns, flamers, you know, heavy stubbers, and more importantly, it has a needle pistol, which is what I need. So this is my Warlord. This is, now that we're up to a battalion strength, this will be Light Colonel or possibly even Colonel Crockett. So he's got his 3 arms, he's got his bone sword. So I try to make him WYSIWYG for what the, this is a Primus, by the way. So this will actually be the leader. I'll put his holster right there. And on his hand where that radio is, that's going to be where his needle pistol is. So he's probably going to have a white suit with like a blue undershirt. You know, we're going to go for the whole actual Miami Vice Crockett theme. So this is Crockett. And we're going to show you Tubbs. So Tubbs is going to have a gray suit with a pink undershirt. And Tubbs, which also, this is definitely my Squig Hunter Sean model, because me and him are both Miami Vice fans. So Tubbs, he's got his, if you've ever seen Miami Vice, he's got his classic sawed-off shotgun. He always has it, especially in the first season. And he's a Nexus, so instead of having that table for the hologram, he actually has that little hologram right there in his hands. So he's still your intel specialist and your master planner and stuff like that. And he's on the right base, so the base looks so big, because he's my Nexus. So yeah, that's just some of my hero models. Like, so all these guys were like maybe $5, $4, you know, and some shops on Etsy will sell a whole bunch. You can get a whole bunch of them for like 1 shipping charge. No, I don't have a Magos yet. I'm looking for, I actually, ironically enough, if I can get it for a good price, just because I'm not paying $30 for it. It's not like a, you know, I can't eat for a month kind of thing. It's just a matter of principle, you know. But if I can get a Magus, the GW female Magus, for a decent price, I may get it, only because I think it's a good sculpt. If you look in the top right of the screen, you can see I have a Magus up there, and they look good when painted right. Like, they have basically like thigh-high boots, you know, and you can actually see their thigh underneath their robes like that. It's a decently attractive model, you know, so it matches the theme of my army. If I can find a good female Magus, I'll definitely add one. I don't know if I'll ever run one. But I do have a my Benedictus. It's underneath the cabinet right now. It's in the process to be painted. I'll bring it out on another stream. My Benedictus is not a giant brain. Mine actually looks more just like a regular, kind of like a priestess, I guess. Because I got one. The way I'm building a lot of these models, I want them to kind of blend in with Imperial Guard a little bit. Obviously, they have like huge gene cult, like worm signs, you know, so it's not going to blend in too much. But a good example is I have an acolyte. I have a icon ward, right? So it's the acolyte with a huge giant gene flag. It looks cool. It's actually a good model. Don't get me wrong. But I just ordered another model to serve as one, because what I'm going to do is it's a female Krieger, so she has like just the coat on, no pants. Well, I mean, she has like a bikini bottom on, but like no actual like pants. So she just has like the huge overcoat, and she has the Krieg head. So I'm gonna cut the Krieg head off, and I'm gonna put on a see if I have it over here somewhere. Here we Maybe you'll see it. I'm going to kit bash and put on the head from this model so I can paint it black, and she's going to be my quote-unquote commissar. So she's going to, the Krieger coat I'm going to paint black. I'm going to put on that peak cap, paint it black. So she's going to be my commissar with a huge giant flag for the unit. And so I'll run her as an icon ward, but in the lore-wise, when I do like a whole armies on parade, she'll be like a quote-unquote commissar. Same thing, my Benedictus is my unit's priest, quote-unquote, you know? So yeah, I just want to show you guys some of my hero models that I kind of have going on. I thought it was kind of cool. I was actually going through my army box earlier. All right. So let's see what we're gonna get done today. I'm hoping today, like maybe we'll build our last. Nice, there's our color changing light again. I like it. So we're gonna build our last Space Hoggo. We're gonna build our last Hippogriff tank. We're gonna glue that together. We're gonna chop off the heavy stubber part of that one and the prior one, so that way they look like they have melted guns that are ready to go. I have 3 more coming in from the guy who sold me the first 3. I reached out to him, was like, dude, I love these. Like, dude, I'm glad you like them. I was like, hey, I'm taking pictures as I go along, and I'll post like a good review, and I'll post like the whole, you know, process of me painting these things up. So that's kind of cool. So I think he's gonna like that, and I'm really excited to get those paints. I won't be able to fit all 6. I mean, I could put all 6 in one 2K list, but it gets a bit silly. So I'm saving all 6 for a nice 3K list. Hopefully I can get a 3K game in one day. I haven't done Apocalypse in 40K in too long. So with that being said, let me go ahead and bust out the stuff to build another one of our little Space Hoggos. In case you haven't seen them, these are what they look like. So we got these, they're hippogriffs, but they come with treads. And we're running them as light tanks, which I think are pretty cool. Also, huge shout out to Matt Larkin. He helped me out. He sent me some ideas on how to get started. I was watching Morning Glories. He did a stream earlier in the day. We were talking about ways to kind of bring the whole, I keep talking about 40K chill wave, how to bring back fun 40K. And one idea he had is no secondaries. Your primary is whatever your disposition is, and then you use 2 quote-unquote twists from the registered deck or whatever the current deck is. So I was reading through some of those twists, and one of them I just straight up love. I forget what it's called. I think it's called like it has some like clever name, but basically what it is it says it strips the word solid from all terrain. So what that means in 11th, if I'm understanding it correctly, is it's what we play in bolt action. At least in my area, we play true line of sight. If you can see the bloke, you can see the bloke. You know, so someone's behind cover, but you can honestly, and it's not just like I see the tip of your barrel or I see the tip of your flag. No, we don't do bullshit stuff like that, because that discourages from modeling for fun, you know? But at the same point in time, it goes both ways. You can't model for advantage, but like, I'm shooting you from the tip of my flag. Now get out of here, it's trash. But no, it's true line of sight. So if you can see the middle of if you can see the guy's torso like through the cover, like, yeah, you can absolutely shoot him. He's gonna get the benefits of cover, you know? So that's kind of cool. So some of the things me and him are working on, some of the other rules we want to incorporate, this might be a little too OP, so we're going to have to test it. One of the things we really need to bring in involves vehicles. And what we want to see is if a vehicle doesn't deadly demise, it stays where it is, and it just acts as like another piece of cover. So it's on fire and things like that. You know, it's a destroyed vehicle, but it acts as like another piece of cover. So that's something we do a lot in bolt action. It's a lot of fun. It makes the map very dynamic. So if you're trying to like charge up a whole, like, you know, if you're seeing tank after tank after tank and they knock out one of your tanks, you know, if you ever seen Saving Private Ryan, or if you ever played like Dawn of War, you know, sometimes you take out these vehicles and you're like, great, now you have like an 8-ton roadblock. You're like, crap, that was my main avenue to advance. How am I going to get around that, you know? Because sometimes you may want to sacrifice that. Like you'll have like a little buggy that has like a couple wounds left. Like, I'm just gonna drive that, and I'm gonna like ghost ride my whip and parallel park it right there in the street. Because if he shoots it and kills it, then it's gonna be, you know, if it blows up, it blows up. If it doesn't, now I got a little bit of cover to help me move from building to building. I think that's gonna be kind of fun. So I think using that true line of sight. Yeah, same thing. I got some old Squidfist sent me a lot of bits for rhinos, and I converted most of them into orc trucks, but I still have a whole bunch of rhino bits left over, and so I'm using them as like wrecked rhinos, you know, for more terrain. So yeah, I'm sorry. We have true line of sight, which is kind of cool. Basically, it just removes solid from the terrain. We have vehicles don't explode, stay on the map, and they act as cover. And then here's my other favorite one. We actually had to work it out in a table, so this is actually kind of cool. I'll actually try and see if I can put it in the chat so you can see what we were doing. All right. This is, I think, what we finally landed on. I'll put it in the chat. You guys can let me know what you think. All right. So what we're looking at is weapons with a blast keyword with a weapons with the blast keyword, or weapons of strength of at least 9. When they miss, they make a small crater. Weapons with a strength characteristic of greater than 9, when they miss, leave a medium-sized crater. Weapons with a strength characteristic of 11 or greater than 11, leave a large crater. So this way, when you shoot and you miss, it adds kind of like a dynamic. First off, you get an ever-changing battle space, which is kind of cool. You know, like you keep shooting at one model, you're gonna see like all these like craters in the middle of town. Like, what happened there? I'm like, oh, you tried to force me off that center objective, that asshole. You know. But the more you shoot, if you miss, now you just basically gave them another small piece of cover. Now, granted, it's called exposed terrain, so it doesn't give you a lot of cover. It doesn't give you a lot of benefits, but it's still that -1 to hit, which is kind of cool. So I kind of like that. I think incorporating those 3 things, or those 4 things. So we talked about no secondaries. It's just your primary is your primary. We're gonna set up really cool tables. We'll make it, you know, to where everyone agrees. It's not gonna be shitty towards one person or the other. Like, we're all gonna agree on what it looks like, except for a really cool table. You know, like I talked last stream, like the characters, the table's one of the main characters in the story of that game. You know, you have you 2 players, your 2 armies, the mission, and the table. So you have a good table. Your primaries are your primaries per your disposition. No secondaries. Unless you want to do it for the mission, like a slay the warlord, or, you know, you could even try and do the bad habit with 40k. I'm not sure how that worked. That'll take some tinkering, but you know, you do you, boo. So we have that. We have no secondaries, just your primary disposition. The second thing we're changing is we're taking the twist of, actually, I have it right here. Let me look up what it's actually called. For those of you who are well versed in 40k isms, it is called Nowhere to Hide. Terrain features do not have the solid roll. So we will incorporate that. We'll incorporate vehicles that don't explode, stay on the map. And then we'll have, you know, missed weapons of those categories leave different sized craters. And you can also wing it. You don't have to follow that exact formula, just whatever you feel like. Hey, I feel like this weapon would leave a bigger crater. Okay, cool. You know? And as far as where to put the crater, you can either just do it like gentlemen and put it where it makes sense, or where you guys both want, or you can always roll a scatter die. You don't affect where it goes. So there's plenty of different ways to do it if you guys really worry about that. All right. So I get the camera to focus back again. All right, there we go. Cool. All right. Yeah, I do miss a scatter die. Absolutely. Ooh, a little bit of a hiccup. I think we're okay, though. All right. Yeah, we should be okay. All right. Getting back to it. So let me go ahead and bust out our last little Space Hoggo tank, and we'll actually get gluing. If I can find... Oh, there's where I put my glue. Kind of a fun feature. He did include his little shop logo and 3D printed as well with the tanks. I thought that was clever. Yeah, I'm about that. I'm about that life, about the whole scattering. Because that's one of the cool things. One of the things I do enjoy from bolt action that I wish we could bring into 40K was smoke. You know, like mortars actually have smoke rounds, and you can like pop smoke and it makes cover on the map. I think that's pretty cool. But that'll take some serious tinkering, you know. So we're trying to keep it fast and loose where anyone can kind of mimic it, you know. But yeah, that'll be the optional thing. So you have like the stock kind of rules changes to make it chill and fun, and then you can go even further by doing like randomization. The problem is not a lot of people have scatter dice. All those who play bolt action in Common 47, we have scatter dice because there are order dice. You know, a lot of people don't know that the order die is actually a scatter die. It has a little arrow where it points, you know. Sorry, I'm taking pictures as I go so I can fill out a good review for the guy. Alright. So that's what the body of the tank comes in, and then he gives you a little baggie that has all your weapons and goodies. Yeah. I'm trying to do my part of getting like a good report of a lot of these guys on Etsy, because then maybe when other GSC players want to kind of do something similar to what I'm doing, you know, maybe they can get there and get a good relation, and they can get like 5% off or 10% off or like free shipping or something, you know. Alright. Got my obligatory photos. I am a photo velociraptor. Some people are sexual Tyrannosaurus Rexes, some people are photo velociraptors, you know. It's just your lot in life. Yeah, I love affordable vehicles that come in easy to build kits. It's a valuable market all to itself, you know. And like I said, he gives you just about all the options for the turret. If you guys don't know, the Hippogriff comes with, you can take like a mini Gatling gun. So coaxial, I think you can have, what is it, a heavy stubber or a melta. Let me double check what it is here. Show me House Hufflepuff. Give me a second here while I double check so I don't give you guys bad info. So coaxial, you can take a heavy stubber or a melta gun. For the primary weapon, you take basically a miniature battle cannon, a melta cannon, a last cannon, which it's actually, I mean, it's one shot, but it hits like a beast. It's like strength 12, -3 AP, D6 +1 damage. It's nasty. You can also take a mini Gatling gun. So one thing I love about Gene Stealer Cole, by the way, so if you take the last gun on the Hippogriff, right, it's, the cool thing about Hippogriff, all its weapons are assault too, which I like, but, so it's 48-inch range, one shot, you know, 4 up on the ballistic skill. It's strength 12, -3 AP, D6 +1 damage. But the heavy mining laser, one benefit of that is it actually has blast. So the cool thing about everyone's just like, oh, it's the same thing as the last cannon, just differently named. Not so much, because that makes it more universal. It's still good at punching holes in vehicles, but with that blast, if you have what we used to call back in 7th MEQs, Marine equivalent units. So if you have like Space Marines or Trader Marines or something like that, a whole like squad of like 5 or more, that's another good target for your last cannon. You can absolutely hit that because you're gonna get the benefits of blast, which is kind of nice. It makes the Gene Stealer weapons a little bit more utility, if that makes sense. All right, we got a little turret, and let's dig out our weapon combo. I say utility, I think utilitarian was the term I was looking for. Yeah, I've ordered in a couple, so even though I've quote-unquote saved money on these kits by getting like a cheaper model that's not GW, I still pay the monetary price in the long run because I get a whole bunch of extra bits to put on it. Like I'm ordering, you know, jerry cans to put on the back. You know, that typical like tank accessories. You know, I got like a, I'll put a tarp on one of the treads, a purple one. You know, I'm gonna have dismounts or trunk monkeys who would be like riding on the side as well. You know, so it's gonna look cool. It's not just gonna look like, hey, I paid 15 bucks for a tank, now accept it. Like I'm gonna put a lot of stuff on. I'm gonna kind of make it really look cool and like fit into the whole theme and story. But I saved money by not getting the overall expensive model. But in the end, it kind of generally breaks even, I guess. Hey, Squid Fist, what's going on, brother? Sorry, my chat was frozen for a little bit. The 40K M8 Greyhounds. Yeah, so a lot of people are like, hey, it's a Sheridan, or not. I'm sorry, not a Sheridan. I like Sheridans. It's a Saladin. Yeah, it's a Saladin. It's a Greyhounds. You know, I was like, yeah, but if you put a tread on it, then it's more like a Scorpion or a Sheridan, or almost like a Chaffee kind of. Oh, nice, Squid Fist, hop in and out. Well, it's good to see you, buddy. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, hit up Etsy, CB Cooper. You'll find all sorts of cool stuff. I think a lot of people kind of lean into the more mechanical style GSC. All right, I needed a drink. Now let's get gluing. The treads go on pretty easy, as you can tell. There's a sharper front end, and there's a bit of a flatter, you know, she got a booty back end kind of thing, so it's kind of easy to just kind of line it up on the tank. I mean, I can see why some people like it wheeled. Like, again, look at me. I based this whole unit off the old Marine Corps light armored reconnaissance, and they used to use, they're replacing them now, but they used the LAVs, you know. So, and those were eight-wheeled vehicles as well. So I get it. I think there's nothing. I think it was a smart move because bolt action was doing so well, mostly because it's just a well-designed game. But bolt action was doing so well, and let's be honest, 40K, it's original fans. Like, the fans of Old Hammer are actually quite old, probably a little bit older now. I'm not trying to offend anybody. I guess my generation, which would be about mid Hammer, I guess, we're getting a little bit older. We're getting to that age where I think Morning Glory made the joke earlier. You either start smoking meats as a hobby, or get really into world history or military history. So I think a lot of people my age are starting to turn to historicals and turn to World War II history and World War II miniature games. So by releasing that for their guard, like, hey, here's some very World War II themed, because a lot of their tanks look World War I kind of themed, especially the Lehman Rossi. You have that very unique tread style, very World War I. And Death Corps Krieg, very World War I style. Like, hey, here's a little bit of World War II themed. You know, here's a half track, and here's basically an armored scout car. You're like, oh. It kind of like pulled you back a little bit. That's cool. So it's like that. So I think it was a good idea ultimately on the design side. I said I liked it. Yeah, as soon as I saw, but I'm with you, Russell, because I like light tanks. You're talking to the guy who went Imperial Japanese mostly just because of the tanks and then fell in love with everything else. But I love light tanks. So as soon as I saw what it would look like with treads, I was like, yeah, that's going in the list. I don't care what I have to move to get it in there. It's like, welcome to Light Tank-a-Palooza. But it also fits the theme. You know, if you're going to be a very even Hive Cult, if you're going to be a Gene Stealer military style unit, you may not always have a Bane blade. You're gonna want light tanks, you know, especially if you're like me fighting in the cities. You don't want a huge heavy tank in the city, but these light tanks are absolutely nasty in the city. Exactly, yes, but you nailed it. Because it's urban warfare is exactly why I didn't want tires. I'd rather give up that little bit of on-the-road speed and go for the treads. Or tracks, as it were. To me, and I was talking to someone in a Discord about getting a game in, and they're like, "Oh, it's okay. You can show up with unpainted models," which I appreciate. You know, the guy's being nice, very nice. I was like, "Thanks for supporting, knowing I'm doing a whole new army, and it's okay to show up with unpainted models." And I said that too. I was like, "I appreciate that," but I also said, "I was like, it's a slippery slope. I'm trying not to play with unpainted models again." I did during my crusade just because I really want to get that crusade in before 11th landed. But to me, painting the models it helps me get my money's worth, if that makes sense. You know, because I buy these models, I sit here and I theorize about my own lore, like a good nerd that I am. I sit here and homebrew my own lore, you know, come up with all these cool stories and stuff like that. I think they're cool anyways. And then I design what items I want. I take a look online. I pick the alternate models. I look at the kit bashing opportunities. So I build them. So I pay the money for them, of course, right? So then I theorize about the army. That's step one. I kit bash. I build them. I paint them, albeit shittingly and quickly, but they are painted. And then I get to play with them on the tabletop. So that's like 5 steps I have there. 5 or 4 steps. I'm really getting my quote-unquote money's worth. You know, instead of just like, oh, I bought this model because it's this, and you know, take them right to the table. But that's just me. I enjoy the calmness of painting these models. Well, yeah, so Ginny, you bring up a good point, and I was talking to somebody else about this too. Oh no, what was that? The tread fell off, it didn't glue. Especially if you're like Hive Code, you're taking over a PDF. One guy was talking about he's doing a he's doing a Gene Stealer cult, but on an ag planet, so they're a lot more like agricultural style and farm based, and so it's gonna be I'm assuming almost a lot more, almost kind of like Tanith, like a lot more like Ranger style, you know, like the old term, not like Army Ranger, but like the old term Ranger, you know, like the Dunedain Ranger, Lord of the Rings, or like, you know, Rogers Rangers, you know, running around in the woods and shit. So I think he's going to go for that kind of style. And I was like, hey, you know, you might want to look at hippogriffs. They really fit that kind of like light infantry ranger look you're going for. More importantly, it's what a PDF would likely have. You know, they may have some old Lehman Russes that like leak too much and were not good enough to actually get loaded on a transport and taken to the next world and left behind for the PDF. But especially that these hippogriffs can take a mini Gatling gun. That's great for dispersing crowds, you know, just literally give them the old bullet hose and just spray the protest. Again, this is the Imperium, they could do that. You know, someone wants to protest, they can just hose down the crowd with a bullet hose. So yeah, I think PDS would absolutely use hippogriffs over Lumen Russes. So I think hippogriffs are a very, well, lore-wise, I think would be pretty iconic for Gene Stealer cults. They have a lot more access to them. And more importantly, it's an armored wheeled vehicle if you're going the wheeled route, which means probably easier to work on even by civilians. Or if you take the guys who work on Goliaths, you know, on big heavy utility trucks, they could probably work on a hippogriff, you know. A good example, if you look at the I think it was the CVRT family of armored vehicles, the Scorpions, Spartans, Samaritans, Sultans, you know what I'm talking about, the British recon tanks from like the 70s. Their original engine was just a Porsche engine. I say just, I mean, it was a powerful ass Porsche engine. You know what I mean? It was like very easy to work on. Yeah, Same. Well, yeah, you see me, I disappeared for like 6 months, so I totally get it. Yeah, I had to be in the mood to paint. And that's the other thing is I've learned never to force the mood. If you're not in the mood, you're not in the mood. It's fine. You know, but one thing if I'm trying to get through something, I'm not necessarily in the mood to paint, something I'll do, you know, shameless plug, I'll either watch a stream, you know, quote, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, hint, wink, nudge, or, you know, I'll watch a movie or something very thematic, and I'll pick a color. I'll do the color of the day. So, like, a good example, when you look at my quilting that I'm slowly chipping away on, so far they have their leather and they have their blue done, and that's it. So they've had 2 days, you know, like today's color is blue, I'm doing everybody's blue. You know, next day is leather, I'm doing everybody's leather. So the next day will be like black, I'm going to paint everyone's gear and weapons. So you do that, and you can skip a couple days when you're really not feeling it, you know. So that way, like after a week or two, you'll actually have like 10 painted models. Damned Legion, what's going on? Welcome to the warm embrace of the Four-Armed Emperor. Glad to see you in the stream, brother. Nice. Glad to hear you have a granddaughter. It's cool. It's cool to see the family line go on and on. I'm glad. Yeah, it's almost like a timeshare. You know, like you get to enjoy them for a little while, then hand them back. I don't talk much about my personal life, but I don't have kids. My wife and I, we just didn't want to have kids. But my brothers, who I think one of them is suspiciously watching the stream, he might be. But my brothers have kids, and my brother-in-law has a kid. So when we visit our family, you know, we usually get to see our nieces and our nephews and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. So we get to see them for a little bit, and then we get to, you know, right away. It's kind of nice. Exactly. See, Jenny's already writing her own little lore. I like it. All right, we got one tread on. Hey, thanks, Damned Legion. I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate the nice words. I'm not the best painter, and I don't really improve over time, but I kind of get some neat ideas in my head, and I try and execute those ideas in the least effort amount possible. But I'm glad it looks cool to you, man. It makes me happy. Squidfist is back. Nice. Making some slime with the kiddos. I like it. Yeah, I'm about to send a whole nother box your way, Squidfish. You're about to get some more stuff. I'm trying to think, what's in this box? It's a bunch more orcs, especially my little Kipash guys with all their augmented limbs, my cyborgs. So you're getting a lot more cyborgs. Oh, you're getting a buggy. The buggy you can technically run as either a Boomdack, a Snazwagon. God, that's so fun to say. Boomdack, a Snazwagon. You can run it as a Boomdack, a Snazwagon, or I think you can run it as a one of the other buggies. I'm trying to think what it's called. So that'll be cool. What else is in there? I think now I can't remember. I think there's a bunch of other cool stuff in there. Oh, I think I found that Sweet Tooth model, so I'm gonna put him in there. And I'm gonna try and put in a couple of long boats I have from my Blood and Plunder days. I have a couple of extra long boats and like big, huge rowboats. So I'll throw those in there for your kit bashing because I know you're doing freebooters. Yeah, Matthew sent it to me. I'm so glad. Let me take a look. I'm sitting here gluing this track. Yeah, let me know when you send it. Oh, nice. He just did. Cool. Oh, yeah. Holy shit, those look cool. They're like, I don't even know what I'd call those, like demon terminators. First off, that diorama looks absolutely pimp. I love the sword. The sword's almost like dripping with badassery. But I don't know what Matthew, don't tell me what those are. Those three things. They look like, I would call them like demon host terminators. I don't even know, but they're amazing. Super cool. Super cool. I'm glad you like the cyborgs, man. I had a lot of fun with them. I tried to make sure everybody had some type of augmented limb. You know, like some have augmented legs, some have an augmented arm. But the arms always have weapons, so they have like built-in guns or built-in blades. I thought it was funny. And if you notice, I used a lot of bits. Oh, that's the other thing. I used a lot of bits from Old World. I found a good deal on an Old World orc box. It came with like 31 models. So that's why a lot of them have like those weird kind of metal helmets. Oh, they're obliterators. Oh, okay, that's what they are. God, this looks so cool. Yeah, so what it was, I ended up trading my tectonic frag drill that I had for a long time that I never built and I never was going to build. Even though I was kind of interested in Gene Suit, I would still never build the actual tectonic war drill. So I took it to, shameless plug, Warpfire Games, which is, if you guys know me and know that I'm in Florida, that's where I like to meet to play. I like to meet at Warpfire Games. So if you ever want to play me in the state of Florida, we can schedule it. Let me know and we'll go to Warpfire Games. It's in the middle of the state in Ocala and horse country. Anyways, so I took it to Warpfire. They buy, used models. I showed them, the box opens, everything's there, and they gave me like an insane amount of store credit. I was like, okay. So I just basically ran around crazy and bought everything I wanted for my orcs at the time. So I absolutely raided his bid box to the point where he's just like, dude, just take what you need. Don't worry about it. Because usually it's like every sprue you take's $1 and every piece is like $0.25 or something like that. It's like, dude, it's like be reasonable, but just grab what you need. So I did that. That's how I built up my sprue bag. And then I got a cargo hauler that I was going to turn into a battle wagon. And I got that box of Old World orcs that came with like 31 orcs. Yeah, I absolutely made out like a bandit with that store credit. It's a good time. Yeah, it is a big state, so it's funny. That's why people like me, Irish, Arcade's come down a couple times actually. I think Troopers down here. There's a couple people down here in Florida. I have some local shops I like to go to. I don't advertise them too much online just because of the proximity to my house. It's like it's a privacy kind of thing. I don't want to be like, oh, this is my local shop. You should know kind of roughly where I live. But anyways, I live nowhere near Ocala, but that's where I like to do all my Florida gaming because it's central to a lot of people here in Florida, and that's kind of nice. And even better, and the best part about it, is you don't have to go on I-4 to get there. Yes, very OPSEC. So keeping people off I-4 is nice. These treads aren't wanting to glue today. It's alright, let me get another shot going. Yeah, you might. There are some serious bugs here. But yeah, if you've never seen Warfire, it's worth following their YouTube channel. They do hilarious little shorts. And what they do is, so if you're ever ordering stuff, you can order it in the US. They have a huge warehouse. They ship all sorts of tabletop war games, right? They have pretty good prices, and they have a used section, which is nice. And they randomly will upgrade you. Like if you order from them, you may get a random upgrade. It's not as common as Warlord Games throwing in a free sprue, but what they'll do, they'll call it a Warpfire upgrade. Like, hey, we saw you ordered some tactical marines. Here's a rhino to go along with it. We call that a Warpfire upgrade. And they'll put a little short, So you never know, you could be that upgrade. Their prices are good. I do recommend them. If you're in the States, I definitely recommend them for your GW or Warlord Game stuff. I like it because it's a very clean, well-run store. The point where like I can bring the missus and she's not gonna feel like uncomfortable, like it's like a nerd basement, This place is very clean, very nice, very friendly. It doesn't give off the whole like one Magic tournament away from like creepy body pillow exhibition. Not shaming Magic, not shaming body pillows or any of that kind of stuff. Hey, you do you, boo. I'm talking like you've been to some of the smaller local stores. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, there's you do you, and then there's you do you in public. Those are two entirely separate things. I wouldn't be comfortable in a place like that. I think some of you guys have probably seen pictures I posted from Warlord Games. They do some really cool thematic tables. Like I played a game of Comic 47 on a Mordheim table, like 3-dimensional. Like we fought in the sewers, on the streets, in the castle. Dude, it was epic. For a while, for Blood and Plunder, which is a 28mm Age of Piracy game, they actually had the Castillo de San Marcos. So they actually had the fort from St. Augustine built in perfect scale. It was a cool table. Yes, so Jenny's right. I know some of you guys from all over. I do have to go out to California for work every now and then. So next time I'm going out to California, I'll try to link up with some of you guys who are out in like NorCal or who are in like Arizona or Nevada, something like that. But yes, I am thinking about hosting a 40K event in Indiana. It'll be in a very small town that's right there on the Indiana-Kentucky border. It'll be in a nice little small hotel. It's nice, it's clean, it's affordable. It's got a pool, it's got a bar, continental breakfast. More importantly, it's got a huge meeting room where we can actually run an event. So it's actually kind of perfect. We'll likely do it maybe early summer. That's what we're looking at, possibly. So that gives you like a year in advance to plan. You know, start kind of freeing up your beginning of your summer next year. And what I want to do is I want to do like kind of a multi-day, like maybe a 2-day event. And I want to do an escalating Civil War battle. Very Necropolis themed. If you ever read the second Gaunt's Ghost book, I want to do a very, guard versus guard style. So we'll have, each side can have like one army that's not guard. And what I mean by that is like maybe one side can have some type of Imperium, like Sisters or Agents or Space Marines. The other side can have like one thing of Chaos Space Marines or World Eaters or whomever. But all the other players will have to be guard. They can just be Traitor Guard, or they can run them as, actual Traitor Guardsmen with the CSM, whatever they want to. But the trick is we want a lot of guard players. We want guard versus guard, basically, like in a Civil War. I think that would actually be a lot of fun. So what I'm thinking of is the first day will kind of be like a meet and greet. I may even do like a small like fitness thing, like a small little like for fun, like a little like rec kind of thing, just for fun, But the first day will probably be like a kill team match, maybe, or a kill team and like combat patrol, depending on what you have. Some people don't like kill team, so we'll do like small little engagements there. Then the second day is when we'll break into our teams and we'll actually set up all the tables and we'll do like our bigger events, probably like 2K and 2K versus 2K and 2K, so 2v2 and 2K each. We'll keep it manageable. It's not going to be Theratos of the West, but it should be kind of cool. The thing that we're going for is just lots of guard. Just basically guard versus guard as much as we can. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah, that could be the other faction too. You could have, like, the Traitor Guard could actually have Tau or Votan working with them, so you could have lots of Imperial Guard and they're backed by one guy running Tau, and they could basically be like for the greater good, and that could be what causes that Civil War. Then obviously as Gene Stealer Cult, I'll pick whatever side needs a guard player, and I'll probably fit in with that style. Well, Russell, that's the best part is, just like most Civil Wars, nobody thinks they're the bad guys. Whoever wins, the other side's the bad guys, So every side thinks they're the good guy, And they sit there at the end, they look at the pile of bodies like, are we the baddies? With the skulls in our helmets. I love that. But yeah, I'm hoping to do like a, yeah, I think it'd be fun because like I said, a lot of people here are guard or GSC players, so I think it'd actually be a lot of fun and be almost feel like a 40k kind of bolt action event. If you're being backed by the towel, you're the bad guy. Oh, you're not wrong. Hey, Squid Hitter Sean, we were just chatting about you, buddy. How you doing, man? I know it looks like not much is going on in stream, that's because these treads were giving me trouble. I was trying to get this tank just right. Alright. Now, I'll still be talking and chatting with you guys, but you hear me mute every now and then, and that's only because I'm going to be filing down this turret section so it fits better. But now I do have party lighting. Woo! Yeah, party lighting. Yeah, so I was tinkering around with the list. A lot of people said it wasn't as sturdy as I think it is, and that's true. I haven't played 11th yet, so I don't know how quickly stuff dies. But it looked like a pretty gnarly Gene Stealer list. It was 120, or first off, it was Brood Brother Auxilia and Xenocult Masses, 2,000 points. It was 120 Neophytes. So what is that? That was 6 Neophyte 20-man squads. One of them has a Nexus attached as a Warlord, and 3 of them have an Icon Ward attached, which basically gives them a, I believe, a 5-up Feel No Pain, which is pretty sweet, and the ability to move your cold ambush markers if they get taken away by someone moving close to them. It also had 3 Hellhounds with the Inferno Cannon Heavy Bolter combo, and then it had what was it? 4 squads of Deathcore of Krieg 20-mans. Now, I know they're not as good without orders, you know, so you can't really rely on them and expect them to hit with their weapons. And I get that, and that's fair. Con Tiki. Damn, Con Tiki's better. I was thinking Tiki's Tactical Luau, but Con Tiki sounds pretty damn cool, actually. We'll have to come up with a name for it. So, yeah. Clash of the Caribbean, that's still going to be a thing. We'll schedule this out. You know, we'll let you know when we schedule this. Whenever basically the wife and I feel like taking a cruise, we'll schedule a Clash of the Caribbean. We'll always try to give you guys like a year in advance or 6 months in advance, you know. But yeah, Con Tiki sounds good. And that's always going to be Conflict 47 or Bolt Action. So I think Con Tiki would be my 40k event. I think I'll probably do that. Usually in Indiana, or maybe I'll pick a different spot as we go on. We'll see. Yeah, Con Tiki. God, it does. It really does. Con Tiki. It sounds a little too cultish. It sounds like I'm a little too much like huffing my own farts, you know? But Clash of the Caribbean was a lot of fun. I mean, that was my first time hosting an event. I didn't do the best, but I had fun. I think RK and some of the other guys had fun too. RK and Bad Rabbit. Yeah, I like that Con Tiki. It's pretty good. So the other reason why I like hosting it in a hotel is if you're of age and if you choose to partake, no pressure, you can absolutely get schmammered. There's a bar at the hotel, plus I'll probably have plenty of libations as well. Well, yeah. So I keep remembering I haven't done the video. Yes, if you've never heard the story of Clash of the Caribbean, the event I ran, that's something that I do. So I do all my own prize support, and I try and make it really worth it, you know? And it's not about who wins the event. The awards are generally like best painted, you know, most tactical, who had the coolest like play or move, you know, and also the big prize is most Tiki, and that's basically like best sportsman. And that has like the biggest prize, but it also comes with a wooden Tiki mask. So when you get there at the event, what you do is we all sign with like a silver Sharpie, we all sign a Tiki mask. And we all take a picture with it. And then whoever gets the most Tiki award they get to go home with that Tiki mask. And it's kind of like a trophy, you know, and it has all of our signatures and the name of the event, you know? No, yeah, so this will not be a riverboat with meth homeless pirates boarding at 2 a.m. No, this is it's a very small, sleepy town in Indiana. Nothing happens there. It's super chill. That's his own blackmailing ways, exactly. That's another Tiki story for those who haven't heard. My last trip to California, I thought since all the hotels are expensive anyways, and I had to visit my work site, which at the time was in Oakland. And there's no offense to anyone, there's absolutely no fucking way I'm staying in Oakland. Nice try. Ironically, so I did a mission when I was in. I flew to Jalalabad, you know, when I was in Afghanistan. We called that the Oakland of Afghanistan. And when I saw Oakland, I think I'd rather have been back in Jalalabad or J-Bad. Oakland was pretty rough. So I decided to stay in Sacramento. So I'll tell the story. So I decided to stay in Sacramento, and I'm a nerd. I'm a huge nerd. So I'm like, hey, if I'm gonna, and I took the train in because where I was staying, there's this little riverboat. It's a classic, like it's the Delta Queen. So it's a classic old American riverboat that used to be operational. And now they park it there in the old town and run it as a hotel, which is a very smart idea. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I can stay on a paddle boat, and then I can take the train into work down to Oakland. I was like, this is really kind of cool. You know, there's not a lot of public transit in Florida, so I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like that. So one night I came back, you know, from my job. I took the train back up, and I got to my hotel. So my hotel has like a gangway onto the land, and it used to be a tourist area of like Old Town, but you could tell there's a lot of transient population. You know, you see the fit lean and stuff like that. You know, I'm not oblivious to it. I see it. I'm like, okay, cool. The problem was it was a little bit colder because it's like February and it was raining. So because it was colder and it was raining, I guess all those homeless people, they don't want to be out in the cold and rain. Okay, understandable, cool, whatever. So the closest building that's open is the hotel. So, and where my room was, it was on the main deck. So when you walk up the gangway, right as you board onto the actual ship, there's the reception desk, you know, where you check in, you can get all your snacks and toiletries and stuff like that. And there's like a little lobby, and just down the hall, just down the P-way or passageway, I'm the first door. I thought it was convenient. I was like, yeah, I'll take that room. Cool, whatever. You know, no big deal. It had a good view of the river and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. I could see the sea lions out there, you know, playing at night and in the morning. It's kind of cool. So when these homeless guys who basically now board this, and it's still a ship, so they board the ship, becoming pirates, fentanyl-fueled pirates, you know, they start banging around, looking for stuff, harassing that lady, and I'm asleep at the time. So I'm racked out. I think I'm wearing like a one of those long sleeve UV kind of fishing shirts, you know, and I'm wearing some pajama pants. And I'll never forget, they're my Jurassic Park pajama pants, right? So I'm sitting there racked out, snoring, God knows what, and I have another funny story with my brother. If I'm asleep and you wake me up and I haven't woken up yet, I'm not there. I'm far away in far off lands. I'm not me. So there I am, racked out, right? And then I just hear like banging and slamming against my door, like someone's trying to get in my room. So I wake up, and again, I'm not where I am. Like I said, I'm elsewhere. I'm probably younger, so some other country somewhere. Like I'm in default mode. We'll call it that. So I get out and I move up to the door. And right as I get to the door, I'm like, maybe it's confident somebody opened the door. There's a homeless guy tries to get into my room. So he like pushes the door and tries to push past me. So I step out to the hallway, close the door, and I grab him and just hip toss him, right? And then here comes another one, so I grab that one and throw him up against the wall. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm just like, you know, just watching shoulders and hands and grabbing wrists and just doing all that kind of stuff. And then here comes Sacramento PD, and they're like screaming and hooting and hollering at everybody. And I'm slowly kind of coming to realizing that, first of all, I'm not young anymore. I'm fat and out of shape, and I was feeling it. I was already huffing and puffing. Like, if you've never actually done, like, I'm not trying to sound like a badass, I'm not, but if you've never done, like, a self-defense or, like, a real combative bout, I'm not talking, like, just, like, rolling in a gi. I'm talking, like, fighting, like, one or two red man suits for, like, 2 or 3 minutes. I mean, there's gassed and there's gassed. So, yeah, I was gassed way earlier than I should have been because I'm fat and out of shape. So I was already feeling it, and that kind of brought me to realism. Right about the time the Sacramento PD is screaming at me, I was like, "Oh, why are you yelling at me?" I was like, "I didn't do anything wrong." Oh, they were pissed. They're like, "Oh, you can't put hands on people. Like, you're lucky we're not bringing you up on charges of assault." I was like, "I'm a guest here. Like, that doesn't matter. You have no right. You know, you should have just tried to leave the boat." I was like, "They're trying to get in my room. I had nowhere to go. Like, we should have stayed in the room and get the door locked." I was like, "I was asleep. I thought maybe there's a fire. It's a wooden ship." It's like, I'm sitting here, I'm like, and like, "Oh, he's got excuses for everything." I was like, "I don't understand what's going on here." And as soon as I come to realization, I start like patting myself down, which, to be fair, is a stupid idea. Cause like, "Oh, what are you doing? Are you looking for, like, do you have a weapon?" I was like, "No, I'm like," I look at it, I was like, "I'm just looking to make sure I didn't get punctured anywhere." He's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "I don't," and I'm like, I'm sitting there watching one of the guys they're yelling at, like, do a fit lean up against the bulkhead. I say bulkhead, it's like a wooden bulkhead, right? But I'm like, I'm assuming getting poked with a needle is kind of like a hazard here. He's like, "It wouldn't have been if you stayed in your room." I was like, "Oh, yeah." So yeah, they gave you some serious shit. And I went to go apologize to the desk lady. She didn't really say anything. She's not like, "You're fine." She's just like, "Yeah, that happens sometimes when it rains." I was like, "You think you guys would like let us know or warn?" She's like, "Yeah, that would detract from business." I was like, "Cool." I was like, "I'm just gonna go back to bed then." So I crawl back into bed. And I'm trying to get some sleep before I gotta take the train into Oakland tomorrow for work. And then it hits me. Like, how old was I then? That was about a year ago, I want to say. Yeah, that was February of 2025, so you can even look up the police report if there is one. So about February of 2025, I was sitting there, I'm like, "Man, I'm in my late 30s, and I just fought river pirates in the year of 2025. Like, the fuck kind of world?" Like, what a world. Like, I never would have told myself I believed that. I thought, like, all my adventures were over. And here, unbeknownstly, from choices I made, I ended up squabbling and all hands throwing hands with a bunch of river pirates in Sacramento, California, in the year of our Lord Omnis Dominus 2025. That is my nature, the misadventures of Tiki. I had a very fun career in the Air Force. I got to do a bunch of wild stuff. That wasn't pretty standard issue. I always found myself in like the wrong place at the absolute right time. If that makes sense. So I thought it was funny that I was like, it still carries over to my civilian life. No, I mean, so as someone who did military law enforcement, like, I get what the Sacramento PD were saying. And again, these are Metro guys. This isn't a county sheriff. It's a Metro police. So they have a certain rule set they gotta follow, and they don't necessarily want civilians getting involved. I get it. I don't agree, but I understand and I appreciate it. And they left safe, and that's what mattered to me. You know, as someone who did that for like 9 years, I get it. But, and again, I'm not shitting on the state of California. I disagree a lot. I'm lucky enough to work for them, you know, and I'm not trying to like shit where I eat, but there's certain policies I disagree with, but my job actually helps keep Californians safe. So, California is not the free state of Florida. They're two separate states, and I can respect that. And I'm glad I live in Florida. I think Florida better identifies with some of the ideas I like, to put it mildly. But next time I go there for work, I think what I'll be doing, I think I'll actually just call ahead and schedule a room on base at Travis Air Force Base. I'll probably just stay on base. I feel like that's probably the safer option for all involved. I just love the riverboat because it was right there by the train. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. I can wake up and walk down to the train." That was also a sketchy walk. I was like, Jesus. Let's see all your chats. I think it's funny. I try not to get too political. I just tell you my experiences, you know, and what I think, you know. But yeah, it was interesting. But it's funny, and again, when I say this, I'm not trying to make myself sound like a badass, because I'm not. If you guys see me, I'm fat, I'm out of shape, and I mean that. I really am. But it's funny how much training still kicks in even all those years later. Like, it was still a damn good hip toss, because they used a lot of the original rooms on that riverboat, and that's back when Americans were skinny and small. So that hip toss was into the door frame. that wasn't a gentle, you know, morning greeting. Pretty damn good hip toss. And I'm 6'1", so I'm a pretty big guy. I'm pretty tall. It was just funny how much like your training kicks over, then you're waking up, you're like, ooh, hold on, I'm about halfway through this. Oh yeah, Sacramento PD was fucking not amused. It gets better each time. Well, it's a true story. I remember more and more when I think about it. There's some sense I remember. So, like I said, as you can tell, the core parts are still there, and every good story should get better with time, you know? So some of the other stories I've told, I put all my old streams back online so you guys can watch all those. There's all sorts of stories sprinkled in there from my career. But I always give the caveat with my stories. Most of the stories are true, and they're of me. Some of the stories are not true, and some of the stories are of other people that I knew. And the reason why I do that is it also kind of protects me legally. I can always be like, oh, that's one of the fabricated stories. So, ironically, some of the stories you think wouldn't be true are the true ones. So... yeah, that's definitely one of the stories I'm more infamous for. You know, when I came back, I was like, you guys won't believe what happens. Ironically, I was actually supposed to meet up with tabletop command post, I think that's what the channel's called, to play some bolt action, but he was moving location, so I wasn't able to schedule a game with him, sadly. So what I was doing while I was telling that story is I was just filing down this so it fit the chart better. Take it easy, Russell. Glad you made it, Russell. Surely did. The story gets better each time. Yeah, I don't know too many miniature channels that are actually out in California. I think Tabletop Command Post is one. I think there's some fans of Hero who I think are over in California. I'm trying to think who else is in California. I mean, I don't want to like dox people. I mean, people who have like willingly said where they are. I definitely make a trip back up to my old stomping grounds on New York and Long Island to go hang out with Mike Ties Flies, you know? Or Mike Trolls Dice. I think that'd be a good time to get out there. Oh, Titans out there? Tabletop Titans out there? I know, oh, what's her name's out there? I can't think of her name. I think she does like 40K. She does a lot of stuff. Surprisingly, she does a lot of Fallout stuff. I can't think of her name. Hobby Knights? Yeah, Hobby Knights is out there, I want to say. I think she's probably SoCal, maybe? I'm not sure. I think they do a little bit of conflict, I'm not sure. Oh, that's perfect, yeah. I'll reach out to them next time I have to go out there for work. Yeah, Sean, her and Chaos Cultist or whatever, her cameraman husband, whatever his name is, that little duo. Yeah, I may reach out to them next time I go out there for work, see if they want to play a game of 40K or Fallout or something like that. I don't know, they probably don't even know who I am. I'm such a small channel. They'll be like, oh, fuck you, go away. Like, beat it, nerd. But, maybe. The reason why I try and do that is, to me, because I go out there on my own time, so it makes the trip out there a little bit more worth it. I can, like, squeeze in some tabletop wargaming, you know? Yeah, flex all my, yeah. I'll have you know when I stream in the middle of the night randomly throughout the week when I come back from 6 months from the convenience store to get cigarettes and milk. I'll let you know I have 16 people in my chat. Thank you very much. But I'd take you 16 in this chat over 100 people. You guys are real. Y'all always showing up. Y'all are always here, and I appreciate it. Let me find the tank hatch to this guy and glue the tank hatch on. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. I don't know where is the tank hatch? I know it's here. Okay, oof. I'll make sure. Yep, it's in here. I got it. Easily. Like I said, it's just as much y'all's as it is mine. And I mean that just as much of the hard work and sweat equity by showing up. That's what the stream is. It's always, regardless of what I change it. When I made the cosmetic change, I really do. Do y'all like how the light kind of changed? I think it's kind of neat. But sorry, I'm easily distracted. But I like even though we've changed from Common 47 over to more of a 40K, and we've changed the kind of cosmetics of the stream a little bit, it's still the same hangout thing, and I think that's what I like. So it's always just been a fun place. And I've always said it, like the theme has always kind of been like that old school Toonami midnight run kind of Adult Swim kind of vibe. We're a small channel. Hopefully we stay small, so we stay under the radar, so we can say what we want, do what we want. It's just like a fun place to kind of hang out. Like if you know, you know. Like, and it's also my philosophy. I don't like the term gatekeeping. I think it's a bit of a weighted term. You know, it's just, you could say goalie, or you could say, I think quality control. Someone actually made a video. It's not my idea. I want to make sure I'm not stealing someone's idea. Someone said that, you know, saying gatekeeping is the same thing as like saying quality control. I was like, that's a good point actually. But it's all what the words you use. But it's my philosophy for tabletop wargaming, also for this channel and for this stream. Like, I think anyone can do tabletop wargaming, but maybe tabletop wargaming is not for everyone. So that's the same approach to the stream. Like, anyone can join the stream by all means, but this stream and what we do, the way we talk and the way we chat and hang out, it may not be for everybody, and that's also okay. You know, like, we're not really going to change how we are. We are what we are. We have fun doing it. So you're welcome to join, you know, and have fun and hang out, but if you don't like it, I totally understand. No worries, no harm, no foul. So that's the same approach I take to tabletop wargaming. And when I run like D&D games, people are like, oh, are you this? Are you friendly towards this? Are you this and that? I'm like, look, man, anybody can join, but the campaign I run, it may not be for everybody. Just know that going into it. Space Tiki Coast to Coast. I loved Space Ghost Coast to Coast, man. That was a classic. I think that really set the old school vibe for that was so good. So I'm trying to figure out how to actually set this turret up. Yep, same thing, CB Cooper. I'll always work. We used to call it mids or grave night shift. I'm always a mids guy, but I like mids. There's less brass around, you know. There's less unnecessary people. Uh-oh. The lone locust of the apocalypse. If you like all that, like I said, you can find clips of it on YouTube. I don't know where you can buy it. It's probably going to be on like one of the streaming starts like Peacock or something. But Here, actually, no, let's see if I can find a video of it. I'll put a link to it. You guys gotta check out Moonbeam City. If you're liking the vibe of all this kind of stuff, and if you like Archer, I think you guys are getting an absolute kick out of Moonbeam City. It is utterly ridiculous in the best kind of way. So you'll recognize that song. They used like the instrumental part as the theme song for the show, and then I used it as the actual like "Be Right Back" song, background track. But that's an animated music video to the show, and it's absolutely hysterical. It's a good show. If you like Archer, you would like this. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to figure out how this little setup right here for the turret goes. I can actually put the turrets on the tank and rotate them. DVD is one of those like VHSs. I don't know. I don't speak Betamax. Well, I will fidget with the that turret part on another day, but we do have our third. We have our little third Hago, our little Hippogriff tank built, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I have a couple other bodies from the cannon fodder boxes where they're like kind of crouching. I think that's what I'm going to use for some of the extra additional tank riders. I plan on having two dismounts or two trunk monkeys for each vehicle. So yeah, trunk monkeys. You never heard the term trunk monkey? While I start painting another guardsman, we're gonna start working on another actual guardsman here. Get him all kitted up. So while I get ready to start painting this guy, I will tell you guys if you don't know what a trunk monkey is. We're about to get an old school GWAT education here in a minute. Okay. So it was, yeah, the old Subaru commercial. So yeah, that's where it came from. First off, those commercials are hysterical. You can hit them on YouTube and just type in trunk monkey and it'll bring up all the old. It wasn't even just Subaru. It was an old car dealership. It was just one car dealership. That was their thing. So this was like before 9/11. I want to say. I think it was like year 2000, right? So this car lot started putting out commercials about trunk monkey, and that was a special feature they sold in their car. It was a little button, and it's a joke, right? They didn't really sell it. It was a button you press in the car, and you had a helper monkey who hung out in the trunk, like a little chimpanzee. And they had all these different videos of all the different stuff you could do. Like one was like a guy, his daughter's borrowing the car to drive to prom. So the trunk monkey is like a chaperone. He's sitting in the back seat with a monkey wrench, looking at her date. I think one's like they get pulled over by the cops, and the trunk monkey gets out and tries to hand him a donut. There's all different times. One of my favorite ones, I used to do it to advertise for my orcs, because I was running boys and trucks. Is a guy's about to get probed by an alien, or he's about to get abducted by an alien, and the trunk monkey comes out and absolutely beats the shit out of the alien. So it's like it's orcs versus Tau. Just absolutely trounces the alien. So that was where the term trunk monkey started. It's like, oh, press this for a trunk monkey. So basically what it was is there's someone who rode in your trunk that got out and solved your problems. So then fast forward a couple years to some bad towns downrange. You know, we start getting into like old school companies, like you have Blackwater back when they were a thing and stuff like that. You had a lot of PMCs in those days in Iraq and Afghanistan. I trained a couple in Afghanistan. I trained a company called Aegis and a few others. So these PMCs used to, you know, it's not quite like Shadow Company from your Call of Duty. You know, not that they weren't that well equipped. But they're rolling around in like borrowed vehicles, like civilian vehicles. They do like convoy runs and stuff like that. We didn't have the bodies or trucks to do like convoy security for everything we needed in country. We had a lot of logistics, so we contracted out convoy security. So like if it's a military asset, like if we're moving military assets, you'll have MPs or 88 Tangos, like truck logistic guys running convoys, right? But if it's like, I don't know, someone ordered something from a military contractor, like food or supplies or something random that's not like military crucial, it would be in a civilian truck and it would have PMC as convoy security. So Squiggle and Shaw, like, I worked with Aegis. I sort of got to go. I think we probably actually ran into each other at some point, ironically enough. So where this comes from, I'm getting to the point, I promise. So it's something that the PMCs used to do, and then Special Forces used to kind of do it too. So as you're rolling in these unmarked kind of civilian vehicles, and you're rolling in a convoy, you don't always necessarily have like a turret, like a turret gunner. So what you would usually have is at the bare minimum, you would have a driver and 2 dismounts. So you'd have a driver, you'd have the truck commander or someone riding shotgun or passenger, and then you'd have what they came to call their trunk monkeys. So so funny. What your trunk monkey was, is they would literally ride in the trunk of that SUV or that vehicle, and usually they'd be back there. If you had an automatic weapon, you usually gave it to the trunk monkey. So whether it be a stolen RPD or RPK, or whether it was a 249, they usually didn't have anything like 240s, even that was a little too heavier. Yeah, there he is, like sat in the back with a 249. Yep, the 249 saw. Those were your truck monkeys. So you know what, if a vehicle got too close, it wouldn't stop. You know, after you did your shout, shove, show, shoot, you know, you'd actually open up with a 249. You were the convoy's kind of rear security. Anytime there was a short halt or a long halt, either you'd stay with the vehicle for a short halt or a long halt. Even you'd kind of like hop out, or you'd pull rear security while your dismounts jumped out either side and set up a 360 around you. So that's where the term trunk monkey came from. And then it went on past that to usually vehicles, when you're running like a convoy, you have your actual crew for the vehicle, like you have a driver, a gunner, and a truck commander, and there's no free rides in a convoy. So if someone's hitching a ride in your convoy, they've now become your dismounts. Dismount is like the polite official term we use. I think tankers call them crunchies. We call them dismounts, or what we started calling them is truck monkeys, because just like the commercial, when you get in trouble, you press the button and your trunk monkeys come out. So that's what we call them. Anyone who rode in our vehicle, like any extra bodies who weren't the driver, truck commander, or the gunner, they were our trunk monkeys. They're like, hey, we're moving up, like I'm getting a 1+1 vibe on that intersection. You know, there's no kids playing, and there's a soccer ball sitting right there, like on a normal day. And there's like a couple strips of tarp flying from that building over there, you know, as either marking it or dictating wind speed. I'm getting a really bad 1+1 creepy vibe. Hey, go ahead and get the trunk monkeys ready. We're about to do a long halt, you know. So we call them truck monkeys. So that's why, long story short, you see when I have these guys who are going to be riding on my tanks, because you don't send a tank, even a light tank, you don't send a tank into an urban setting. You're just begging to eat, you know, some type of shoulder launch anti-tank weapon right at the tailpipe. You have to be supported by infantry. So, and not just infantry on the ground, but you have quote-unquote tank riders, and these guys literally just ride on the tank, they hop out and secure some stuff, and you get in trouble. So I'm going to call them trunk monkeys. So now when you hear me talk about trunk monkeys, that you guys are in the stream, you know what I'm talking about. MSR Tampa. Oh, yeah. There's a couple roads you hear. You hear things like MSR Tampa. You hear Disney Boulevard. J-Bad. There's all sorts of terms like, ooh, man. Some Talar. I like it. Oh, I really want to make some Talaran tank riders. Do it, man. I said the Talarans you gave me, I think I found the perfect thing for them. I'm going to use them as my Cadian recon squads. I think that's going to be perfect. I think they're going to look really great for that. Old truck monkeys. Yeah, it was so funny. As military law enforcement, we surprisingly did a lot of convoys. We had a lot of convoy training when I was in Europe, and so I was worried that like wouldn't apply. So when I went to like pre-deployment training, I deployed. I brought all that convoy experience. Like, oh yeah, so it's all transferable too. It's really funny because you get a lot of control on how you want to run a convoy. Like, even if you're not the convoy commander, if you're just like a truck commander, you're on like a small convoy, it's really how you want to run it. And what's cool is when you're doing stuff like this, when you're modeling like tabletop miniatures for like war games, is you can bring a lot of what I like is, because I'm not the best painter, and I don't try to be too. I could be if I listened to Quick Hunter Sean. If I really tried and practiced, I could probably be better, but I don't, and that's on me, so I don't mind. But what I like to do is I like to kit bash and kind of show my creativity through my stories behind my models and my kit bashing. And the kit bashing is very kind of show don't tell. I mean, I'll still tell. I talk my head off. I do a stream, obviously, but showing the parts on the model and the kit bashing kind of tells that story. Like, good examples, like all of my heavy gunners, all my machine gunners, they will all have pistols, because I once upon a time was a very young kid running. I say young, I was running around with a machine gun, and you better believe I had a pistol. You know, you always give a sidearm to your machine gunners in case that weapon system goes down, or if they're up in the turret and the weapon system's pointed and maintaining like the north perimeter and the north fire zone, and someone runs up on your vehicle from the south, you have to be ready to pull that out and Bonnie and Clyde whoever's dumb enough to run up on your truck, you know? So having a sidearm's wicked important. It's the same thing. I try and, so any like heavy stubber gunner here is always gonna have a pistol on them. That's just kind of how I like to model stuff. So the same thing goes here with when I model the guys in the vehicles. All of my quote-unquote drivers are probably going to have a grenade launcher somewhere, because that's something that used to be very unique to our SOP and how we used to like to run our vehicles. Is we marked who our truck commanders were. You didn't wear anything too obvious, you know, because then that points you out as a truck commander, you know, and you don't want to be a priority target. But the way we were able to notice who's truck commanders is if you look at pictures, and this is just our unit. If you see those chest holsters, so it's a plastic holster that goes on the front of your vest, and it holds your pistol kind of out at the, you can call it like 1 or 2 o'clock, you know, if you're right-handed. That's very useful if you're sitting in a vehicle, particularly in the passenger side. If someone comes up, you can still, because you don't have to reach down your leg to draw your pistol. It's right there, so you can draw it inside of the car and maneuver it around. So that's why we marked our truck commanders. It was almost like a sign of rank. You know, usually a sergeant or higher, you had that truck commander holster, the TC holster is what we called it. You predict the future. Hey, what's up, Despots? So another thing we did is our drivers were always we always put our grenadiers as our drivers. Another reason for that is usually our grenadiers, because it took a little bit of, for us, it took a little bit of smarts to be a grenadier. You had to understand, you know, dead space, how to read a battle space, how to read an engagement, and also be able to move to another weapon system if needed. So usually our grenadiers were our experienced E3s or possibly even E4s. And that's just for our unit's SOP. So a lot of times I like to take my, especially the E4s, I like to take my grenadiers from my E4s and make them my drivers. Because first off, E4 Mafia, which doesn't exist, but even if it did, it doesn't exist. I know if something goes down with the truck, they will beg, borrow, and steal whatever it takes to get that truck back operational. And also, in case we have to dismount, in case we have to fight on foot, or anytime we have to dismount, you know, the driver and the gunner are the last people to leave the vehicle. So if I have to get out with some truck monkeys and do some Tiki things with my Tiki friends, as it were, I know I have a gunner, you know, with an automatic weapon on the turret, but I have a driver who has my unit or my little fire team's grenade launcher, which is kind of cool because they're in a static position and they can still launch that grenade launcher out the door of the truck or out the door of the vehicle. They can literally just brace the 203 right out there and have a stable area where they can engage dead space if needed. It's kind of cool because it completes your automatic weapon and your 203 in one package. Now there's always a downside. The downside of that is I have my automatic weapon and my grenade launcher all in one location. So if they wax the truck, then I lose my transpo, I lose my grenadier, and I lose my gunner too. So there's an upside and a downside. But that was something that was very unique to our unit, something that I brought up and we started doing in my squad, is our drivers were always our grenadiers. So when I model my stuff, like particularly when I do my Jeep that Squidfist sent me, you're gonna see that my driver will actually have a grenade launcher. Oh, Squidfish, you gotta watch the commercials. The commercials make it. Truck monkeys. It's absolutely awesome. But yeah, Squid Hunter Sean got it exactly right. Hanging out in the back seat with an automatic weapon just ready for it. Oh yeah, Squid Hunter Sean's exactly right. So when you are military police, the amount of shit you can get away with downrange, because special forces are always going to do what they want to do. And I'm not saying military police, special forces, they're not, but the way I always explain it is, in my opinion, right, and of course I'm biased, is military police is the other side of the coin of special forces. And I mean that, and I mean the pun. Coin meaning counterinsurgency operations. So where special forces bends the rule to accomplish their mission, and they do what they need to do, and they usually have caveats to not follow common doctrine. That's what makes them special. So on the flip side of that, you need the other side of that. If you have all special forces with no military police, you're going to have a bad time. If you have all military police with no special forces, you're going to have a bad time. It's going to be very rigid. But those two, when they actually work in concert, it's a magical thing. We saw that in Afghanistan. It was very magical. So the same thing, the military police, you can get away with a lot because you are the military police. You know, there's a lot of things you can kind of know what to bend and break, you know, or more importantly, to bend to accomplish the mission. And yeah, the things you get away with are absolutely wild. That's what we do in work. We had to retire the term of work for obvious reasons. Yeah, so if you saw Squidfist, I actually cut off the steering wheel and I turned it into a bit of a British setting, only because I had a good driver who came with the steering wheel and he sat a little bit more flush on this side. It's actually kind of a nod to the old SAS and the long-range Desert Group too, having it more be the British style of vehicle, you know, with the wrong side driver side. And also it allowed the Death Corps of Krieg heavy stubber to fit a little better there. So it's actually really interesting. If you want to get into the history of Air Force Security Forces, where they really came into their own, you know, before Operation Safe Slide, go back and look at Vietnam, look at the Tet Offensive, because a lot of the military was surprised at the time because it was supposed to be a stand down, you know, and so a lot of your actual conventional military were not armed and around the city doing, you know, off-duty things. So when the Tet Offensive happens, really the only armed personnel almost in the whole country besides the Quick Response Force was military police, Army and Air Force. And it was an absolute. You see a lot of Air Force guys who did not have the training or weapons like step up to the plate and do their best, and they did some serious damage. And then after that, because that happened, we were able to prove that there are no more battle lines. You know, in asymmetrical warfare, there's going to be more Tet Offensive. So Air Force cops can't just be walking around with 38 special revolvers handing out parking tickets. We need combat training. We need M60s. We need Stingers. We need mortars. We need armored vehicles. We need all that kind of stuff. But the cool thing is we actually had M16s before anybody else. Before the M16s replaced the M14 for the Army, we actually had them. Air Force Security Forces were one of the first units to actually have them, which are pretty cool. Oh, you're Desert Safe Side? I was, yeah, it's long enough. No, I don't mind saying it. I was Task Force Columnist in Afghanistan, and I worked side by side with Task Force Crimson. Task Force Colonist was a lot of things. What we did was joint operations with DEA and some other stuff. I did that while also doing flyaway security out of Bagram. So yeah, those were wild times. And I did that in 2015. Afghanistan in 2015, that was the Wild West. there were not a lot of people, not a lot of rules. That was a wild time. All right, so let's start working on him. I think we're going to do the blue first. I'm going to turn off my super cool mood lighting so I can kind of see better what I'm working on. Military history is definitely worth looking up. Look up your Tet Offensive, and you'll absolutely see the importance of military police and what they can do. It's kind of cool. Yeah, if it wasn't for military police, Tet Offensive would have gone bad. I mean, it did go bad, but it would have been much, much, much worse. But we also learned that that was part of our mission. It may seem kind of like a downplaying, because we had when I was there, we had a lot of special forces on Bagram at the time in 2015, and they were doing a lot of cool stuff. Don't get me wrong. I'll never take light away from them. Those guys were absolutely hard chargers, right? But I always felt bad. Like, here I am staying on base while you guys go out there and do all sorts of like hood rat shit. And I was actually talking to one of them. Was like, "Nah, man, you don't understand." He's like, "When I come back to the base, I get to just download." He's like, "Gear, weapon come off." He's like, "I'm gonna go watch porn." He's like, "I'm gonna go get some chicken rings at the chow hall." Yes, chicken rings. They're as nasty as they sound, you know. He's like, I can completely just relax. You know, I can turn off for a little bit because you guys are on the wall and at the gate. I was like, "Oh, it's a really nice thing to say. I appreciate that." It's a bit of a mood booster. So I told that to my troops. Like, we all have a part to play. Never feel like your part wasn't good. Your part was vital. No matter how small it may seem. That's how I felt at the time. But more importantly, you learned a fun term today. You learned the term trunk monkey. I'm sure that's a term Reddit will love. Hey, what's going on, RK? How you doing, buddy? Oh, RK, I'm so excited to hear more about your sea lion invasion. Have you given any more thought to it about how the Germans are going to get access to tanks? Are they bringing them with them? You have piqued my curiosity, sir. Oops, sorry, I clicked off the picture in the chat. I want to get more nuns. Exactly, yeah, undercover nuns. So yeah, Mad Lark gave me a lot of cool ideas to try and run a fun style 40k game, and I think we're going to try them. We're pretty excited about it. So yeah, that's our uniform. I know I say it, but I'm saying it so I keep it in my mind too. Blue body gloves, leather jackets, brown leather boots, black armor, black web gear, black weapons, and these guys have gas masks. So, oh, and white shoulder pauldrons. That's a easy way to recognize each other when they're fighting in the city. The one thing I need to get, I'm about to order them. I'll probably wait to finish my my 6 little light tanks before I go back to work on my Hellhounds. I need to get dozer blades for my Hellhounds. I want dozer blades, but I don't know. I also kind of just want battering rams. You know, like an old LAPD armored vehicle that had like the little the T-shaped battering ram. I think I may just get some battering rams. Because, you know, everybody has dozer blades, and dozer blades are cool. You know, but I'm not worried about mines or clearing things, clearing routes in the city. I mean, that kind of focuses on my recon mission a little bit, but I think I'd rather have like the actual like little battering ram T-bar to just punch holes in walls. It's kind of cool because it could literally like drive up, punch a hole in the wall, and then just fill it full of Inferno cannon fire, and then heavy bolter anyone who runs out. Yeah, I don't know if the actual Hellhound models come like from Games Workshop with a Dozer blade, but this little knockoff variant I have doesn't have a Dozer blade. You can see where it has parts to put one, but I think I'm just gonna put like a long T-shaped battering ram on it. I just don't want people to think like I'm modeling for Advantage or any BS like that. Sounds like a DUI story. That is the one benefit. It is always better to get caught by on-base, usually on-base law enforcement, depending on where you are, than off-base, because we control what goes in the blotter, you know, so we can like really hook you up, like, hey, let's stick you in a drunk tank for a couple hours and turn you back over to your supervisor and like minimize the paperwork. Versus if something happens off-base and there's a lot more paperwork, and you get like, because what a lot of people don't understand is there's something in the military called a Lautenberg agreement. So the Lautenberg agreement is if you're ever convicted of, keyword convicted, if you were convicted of domestic assault, battery, or anything like that, you know, you can't arm up with a government weapon. Technically, there's a loophole where you can still be a weapons crew, so you can still be like a naval airman who loads like a Sidewinder on an F-18, you know, because there's no way you could actually use an F-18, or no way you could actually use a Sidewinder as a single-use weapon, basically. It's silly legalese, but yeah, you can't be a armed up military police troop, or you cannot be like an armed up guy if you have a domestic assault conviction, you know. So Lautenberg agreement is very important. So we show up to a lot of these domestics, or we show up to like drunk people at the gate, like, hey, let's handle this intelligently. Like, don't touch anybody because we don't want to have to put this on paper. Because we put this on paper, then you have to fight it legally. You go down, you can't arm. It just ruins everything. I like your lit reference, RK. Well done. Yeah, it all comes down to this magical term that I even use this term in tabletop wargaming. Economy of force. It's not necessarily... It's a viable tactic. You have to use you don't want to like do overkill and stuff like that. It's all about economy of force and using your forces wisely. Using the right tool for the right job, you know? I think that and logistics is what wins, you know, games for 40K. Obviously, and stuff in the real world too. Pants done. Yeah, I like it. Even in just 2 streams, we got a full Ridge Runner done. It's actually pretty cool. Pretty happy. Getting one model closer to be fully painted for November. Yeah, so I was talking with my brother. He told me he watched the streams afterwards. He may or may not be watching the stream now. He's a sneaky guy. Good guy. Great guy. Even if he's not listening, he's a great guy. But he's like, oh, he's like, I saw you talking to Brady. He's like, I saw you 2 motherfuckers colluding. You're in cahoots. I was like, absolutely. I'm gonna try and get Brady as my partner when we show up in November to do our big 40K games in Texas. I think that'd be a lot of fun having a 2K Imperial Guard partner right next to my 2K of Gene Stealer with Brood Brother Auxiliary. I think it's gonna be great. He's like, they're plotting on us. They're scheming. Yeah, you guys let me know in the chat. What do you think about these Hellhounds? Should I get like a battering ram for the front of them, or should I just do the Dozer blade and use the Dozer blade as like a like lore-wise, is like the battering ram. So the Tiki bro, he's my middle brother. So I have 2 older brothers. He's the middle one. So he started with Necron, and he now plays Votan. Yeah. So he gets a little short with me when I talk trash about the Votan. I haven't played him yet, but from what I know of my entire lifetime of playing board games, and tabletop games, and video games with my brother is wildly intelligent, much sharper and more socially skilled than I am. But he's very, very good. But he has this interesting thing. I give him a lot of grief. I'm sure he's watching the stream now, or he'll watch it later, so he'll know what I'm talking about. I always call him Neo, you know, because he can see the Matrix. Like, he can't help but like see the code and see the Matrix, you know. So he'll try and like, and he's really good about it. Like, we played D&D together, and he plays narrative. He's a great guy. He just naturally understands like the best thing to do in any given situation. like Neo, you can just see the code. So I'm sure he's probably pretty tough to play on the tabletop, because he is just very naturally good, and any kind of tactical thing he picks up, he's very good at. Scrooge, does he need a Votan partner? Maybe. I'll reach out to the guys and see if we can use another player. I think we have one guy who runs AdMech and Knights. We have one guy who's running different types of Chaos, generally World Eaters and Death Guard. My middle brother, Neo Bro, as we'll call him. Neo Bro runs... Spicy Tomb Kings, Necrons. He runs Necrons and Votan. And then oh shit, it's Brady! There he is! And now I run Jutsu. Oh yeah, here's Brady, here it is. Brady's like, I haven't played as Votan yet. He's fun to play against. He is the reason I have a deep hatred for reanimators. Yep. It sounds like, I think Brady took a Space Marines up against Neo Bro's Necrons. Yeah, we're gonna call him Neo Bro. I'll let him know it's his nickname. Neosporin. No, he's a great guy. Like I said, he is, and I mean this, he's a smarter, more socially skilled version of me. He's a great dude. I get along with both my brothers very, very well. Like I said, we grew up together. We've always been very close. We're good. We always have a very good relationship. Good guys, both of them. Yeah, I'm gonna let him know that his stream nickname is Neo Bro. All right, Junie, thanks for hanging out. I hope work goes well for you. Thanks for watching the stream for a while. I appreciate it. Hope you have a good remainder of work. Yeah, Brady, I didn't ask, but if you're cool with it, man, in November when we do like our team games, dude, I'd love to fight side by side with you. I think our list would benefit real well from that. But maybe you want to play with one of them. I don't know. I don't want to bully you on stream. But if you want to, dude, I'll totally fight side by side with you. We'll be playing a lot of games too, so I'm sure we'll go head-to-head against each other as well. We plan on doing some serious 40K'ing for over a couple days. Just like I'm definitely going to get the chance to play on my brother's team too. That's gonna feel great. So right now what we're working on is we're doing their the leather jackets. So it's kind of a weird paint scheme, kind of color scheme. I like it because I think it kind of gives like a really cool Underhive former enforcer style. They're not RBDs or Arbites, whatever you want to call them. They're not technically like the Palantine enforcers. They're like their own type of like small local enforcers. Like I said, definitely listen or read the book Bloodlines. You'll kind of get the vibe I'm going for. And when you look at this this troop color, it may not look the best when you compare it to how I'm doing the sergeants, getting that like kind of Blade Runner look. It really kind of matches and it looks a little bit cooler. You can kind of see where the whole like blue and leather trench coat kind of go into effect. Same thing with my Locust. You know, you can kind of see like the blue and the leather jacket. What little she has. Yeah, there we go. I got pretty on. I said, hell yeah, I got his tanks. This will be good. It's like the Lord of the Rings. You'll have my axe. And Brady's like, my tanks. And like, what about you? I was like, my sneaky motherfuckers. My pierce trains. You can have my sword, my bow. He's like, my tanks, like my 4 arms. You're what? My scouts. No, you said something else. Nope, I said scouts. Definitely said scouts. Only 2 arms. 2-armed scouts. Later, RK. Thanks for hanging in, man. I'm excited to hear how you progress with your sea lion story. I'm watching with great interest, RK. Have a good night, brother. Thanks for joining. Same thing. I'm using, actually, I always say it. It's my favorite GW paint. I'm using my my snakebite leather. I absolutely love it. Especially for like these like grungy, kind of dirty, former hive scum kind of look. I really enjoy it. Now, the more I think about it, I think Dozer Blade might be the way to go. I think it'll look the best on the model. As I think more and more about, you know, sending a light armored reconnaissance into a city. That also could be for. I mean, you wouldn't want to take. So that's the thing about the Imperial Guard. For those who don't know, is ever since this whole like misunderstanding, like Horus's misunderstanding, you know, the Great Kerfuffle, the small debate that he had when the 4-armed Emperor picked him up with 2 arms and slapped him with the other 2. Ever since then, the Solar Auxiliary had to split into the Imperial Guard, and the Imperial Guard are purposely designed to be flawed where no one unit, no one organization can have all capabilities. It means you can't have like you can't have a unit that has tanks, artillery, aircraft, and troops. You know, you're supposed to kind of break it up between different actual units. It's supposed to lean towards working together as a team. That's prevent one organization from just absolutely going ham and revolting. It's like a built-in redundancy kind of. A good example is the infamous, you know, Gaunt's Ghost series. Gaunt's Ghosts are light infantry. You know, so when you read books like Honor Guard, when they actually get accompanied by tanks, it's like, oh, this is awesome. We get to, you know, they're used to riding in trucks and like outrider motorcycles. When they start getting to ride in like, you know, salamanders, and they get actual like Leman Russ support, like, hey, this is really cool. We're fighting with tanks. Like, this is a first. Usually we're running away from it and hitting it with like tread feathers. You know, rocket launchers. So it's actually kind of cool. So yeah, when you're building your Imperial Guard lore-wise, you know, and again, don't affect how you build your list. You do you, and you can do whatever you want. I'm saying, like, lore-wise, usually they're supposed to be basically handicaps. So same thing with mine. That's why we don't have, you know, artillery, or not really any indirect fire support. I could put mortars in my Ridge Runners, but I didn't. We don't have artillery. I don't have air support. I don't have heavy tanks. We're a light armored reconnaissance. So we have light armor in the form of Hellhounds and Hippogriffs. We have some fast attack vehicles in the form of Ridge Runners and bikes. And then I have infantry, you know, so. So that's why I see a lot of people when they build their like huge guard armies. I'm talking like the big ones that are like 4,000 or 5,000. You'll see like the artillery, they'll have the same pattern, but they'll basically be like different company names. They'll have like a little bit different uniforms. Like, hey, this is, for instance, the other day when I made that, or earlier when I made that huge list of 120 neophytes and 80 Kriegers, you know, that was the 555th Armageddon trench sweepers, you know, and they'll be supported by the 24th Laportian artillery, you know. So when you add in like a couple artillery things, you can be like, hey, there's a whole different battery or regiment. We're just painting this leather coat right now. So yeah, I like to do their armor and their web gear and their weapons black. Just kind of keeps it consistent, kind of easy. And it's actually a good paint scheme because when I do some of my like House Escher style models, and if someone doesn't know what that is, I'll show you here in a minute. I have a box right here. I'll show you what House Escher models look like, so you know what I'm talking about. Or like my bikini clad models, which I do have many of in this army, and I plan to use many of them. It matches the whole Miami Vice kind of feel. They can have like blue bikinis to match the body gloves. They can still have like little small leather jackets, so it still kind of fits. Let me finish up the leather. I'm going to do his hood, and then I'll show you what House Escher looks like on my little Necromunda box, then we'll take a small break. Again, all my stuff is still safe for work, but yeah, I do enjoy, you know, I like models that look cool. And for this whole vibe I'm going for, I don't mind a few bikini-clad models that kind of add to the storyline a little bit. And a little bit easier to paint. I love the way that, here, let's see if I can get my hand behind it. And it's a little bright to help me paint, but I love the way that snakebite leather just absolutely, that contrast just goes right into the crevices. It gives you a really cool effect. Yes. Oh no, I think these heads came from Anvil. I believe I got these heads from Anvil Industries. So yeah, I on eBay, I got me a nice box of 10 old school guardsmen with blast guns, chopped off their heads, and I put on these ones. I got these originally for my my Division tabletop game I was building. These were going to be my cleaners. And then I was like, oh cool, I can repurpose that. Yeah, never throw away your sprues, especially if you do like guard and you also do bolt action. You'd be amazed how much crossover there is. Or God knows what else, you know? Yep. The Anvil heads are, and I have a new shipment coming in with some Mohawks, with like those like comically huge giant Mohawks from like the 80s and 90s. Those will be from my Katie and Castellans, which I probably won't be running, but I already got the parts to build, so I'm probably still gonna build them and just put them as like my overall army list. In case I need to make like a huge army list, I can still run them. I don't get, so running a Acadian Castellan, I don't get the benefits of their orders, which kind of sucks. But it is another model with multiple wounds that has a power weapon and a power pistol, and their abilities kind of, I attach them to Casterkins and allows my Casterkins to fall back and fire. I think it gives them another boost as well. It's not really worth the 55 points, not when I can take all my other Gene Stealer characters, but if I'm building out a huge like 4,000, 5,000 point list, it'll be nice to have 3 Castellans to attach to each Casterkin squad, you know? Sustained hits, that's what it is, thank you, yep. It gives them sustained hits and the ability to fall back and fire. So for my huge, bigger list, it'd be nice to have 3 of those guys to attach my 3 Casterkin squads. You know, it gives them a little bit more staying power with the wounds, gives them another close combat fighter, which again matches my lore of city fighters, you know, and giving them sustained hits, the ability to fall back and fire. That goes to my whole preference on, you know, sneaky beaky fighting and shooting and scooting. Alright, let me finish up this leather jacket and then I'll show you some House Escher models. I'm so excited. I got a steal on the eBay. Hopefully, we'll see if the box comes in. If everything's in there, it should be. Supposedly it's a sealed box. I'm assuming someone got pissed with the new Necromunda rules. People getting upset is my gain. But it's a House Escher upgrade box. So one of the better values out there, if you can get them for cheap, look up Necromunda upgrade boxes. And what they are usually are weapons and heads and equipment. So if you want to add cool stuff to your Imperial Guard, look up, if you want more like industrial style stuff, look up Goliath or Orlok. Orlok has great, if you're looking for cool bolters, Orloks. Like if you want to put bolt guns on your sergeants or your Katie Castellans, Orloks are awesome. House Escher has more female bits, you know, and more kind of wild like gang style stuff. If you want high-tech badass stuff, then check out Vansec or Vanets. Yeah. So there's a lot of cool Necromunda upgrade boxes, and they just come stacked with special weapons, basically. Yeah, Orloks are great bits for your Imperial Guard. If you're willing to make them kind of like if you're trying to do like a squad of veterans, or like if you want to do a squad of Castrican, but make them look different, like you don't want them to look like Stormtroopers, but just look like some absolute badass veterans. They know some shit because they've seen some shit. Like if you want like an E4 Mafia squad, get a box of Orloks. Dude, they're gonna look absolutely dope. Actually, that might even be another cool way to do your Cadian Recon squad too. You could do Orloks with capes. That'll give you a very cool kind of Tanith, Vernhive style look. So that's the one thing I do. Like I love my kit bashing and just playing the stuff. Nice. There's also a high scum box too for Necromunda. It's pretty good. I think it usually runs like $20, $22. It comes with 4 bodies, 8 heads, and a couple different kind of weapons attachments. I think I have some hanging around here. Yeah, here's one. Here's one of my high scums I kit bashed. So I gave him a last gun. I put him as part of my kill team squad. I added, instead of taking like a patriarch or any of the special stuff, I just added three regular dudes with last guns. So as you can tell, yeah, these are very high scum, very ex-ganger style knives and last guns. Yeah, 4 dudes, $20. I know it doesn't. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera. 4 guys, $20 doesn't sound like a good value. I'm so sorry, you guys. Not to rub it in, but you missed the push fit days. The push fit days were glorious. You got 4 guardsmen for I think what was it, like $10, $15 maybe. God, those were good days. And they came out like this. You basically got 4 dudes in this exact same pose, basically. That was push fit. But man, was it great for just filling out your guard. I think it was 4 guys. Might have been 5. I think it was 5. I think it was 5 guys for $20, maybe. That's how I revamped my my Naval Pioneers of 6th and 7th edition into Elysians for 8th edition. I ordered a whole bunch of jetpacks from Mad Robot, and I got a whole bunch of those push fit guys and just started I put jetpacks on like every other guy, and then the other guys I'd put like extra ammo pouches, kind of like American Airborne in World War II. You know, so some had jetpacks on, some didn't, but it kind of showed that overall the unit was, you know, grab, shoot, and started their Elysians. Got rid of my autocannon teams, replaced them with missile launcher teams and sniper teams. So that's one thing I did like. That, you know what, if I can make an idea, right, in case GW's listening, which I know they're not, that's one thing I think I would like to see in 40K. Some people don't like this, I know. I don't want to tell people how to play with their toy models. You buy your models to play how you want. But my idea, I like systems that are a give and take. You know, instead of, hey, taking this, you get these benefits. I like it having a cost. Like a good example, if you want to take Bridgehead, you lose access to Rogal Dons. You know, maybe you can still take Leman Russes, but you can't take heavy tanks. Think like Command & Conquer Generals. You know, when you specialize in one of the things, or what's the World War II version? Company of Heroes. When you specialize in one thing, you lose access to other things. I kind of like that. I think that's kind of cool. And luckily, again, I don't tell people how to play, but the Gene Stealer cult, they have that feature. They're like, hey, do you want to take Brood Brother Auxiliary? Yeah, hey, if you take that, you can't take these other ones. I love that they have that in the detachment rules. It's like, you don't get to have everything, you know. Do you want to play, you know, with Tyranids with their Gene Stealers, or do you want to play Imperial Guard with their Gene Stealers? You get to choose. I like that. I really, really enjoy that. I know it sounds silly, like why do you want things where people take stuff away? I'm not saying Legends models, that's not at all what I'm referring to. But I like that you don't get the Gary Stu or Mary Stu and have everything. It's like, oh, if you're taking this unit, then you get access to this. You can't take another detachment that has this keyword to it, you know? I like that. That's why I also like fixed costs for war gear. But I don't complain about that for 40k anymore. I've had really good discussions about that with Squick Hunter Sean. And he's brought up a good point where I was like, oh, if you like that, then play a game that has that. And he's right, I have that in bolt action. So that's why I'm not too upset about points cost for war gear anymore for 40k. Because I want a more regimented game, I'll play bolt action. We build for China. Please, may we have some shoes? Alright, so we finished all his leather. Let me grab a box of House Escher models, and I'll show you guys what they look like, and then we'll go on a nice little break. Alright, so I picked this up when I was at Warfire Games, another reference here. Not a paid sponsor. But I was with Irish at the time, and I wanted something to put on my hero models to kind of set them apart to make their bases look different. And I don't want to get like full-on sculpted bases because it was a little pricey at the time. So this is what I did instead. So Gamer's Grass has this option of just basing bits. Spaceship Corridor. So it's just a bunch of these bits like this. So I'm going to take these and add these debris to my character bases to kind of make them stick out so they're easier to pick out in a squad. Especially since I'm doing a lot of kit bashing and customizing, you can tell who's... When I say like, yeah, this squad has a bit of fictus attached to it, it's like, well, which one's the bit of fictus? Is it the scantily clad chick holding up a staff or the scantily clad chick with an auto pistol? You're like, oh shit, okay, I see your point. This way my heroes have something on their base to kind of make them look a little bit different. Anything for like quick recognition on the battle space, I think always makes tabletop games a little quicker and easier. Alright, so here we have... Let me turn on the light so there's not a huge glare. Alright, here we have a box of House Escher Necromunda models. So now you can kind of see the vibe that I'm talking about when I talk about House Escher. Right? Super, super distinct. They are all female. They specialize in the poison drug trade. The drug trade of Necromunda and like medicine, poisons, and stuff like that. As a kin thrower, like a flame thrower. So yeah, I'll be incorporating a lot of models like this, so you can tell with like the crazy hair and the mohawks, I think it's gonna go real well with my army. Got a kit batch over white. There's some plasma pistols in there. Bolt action with a combi bolta with a needle gun. How fucking cool is that? So after my break, I actually recently got in the mail. I haven't looked at it yet, so we'll look at it together. I actually got a Combat Patrol magazine in. I didn't know what Combat Patrol, not the 500-point game, but I didn't know what the Combat Patrol magazine was. I don't know if it's only available in the UK, but I got a hold of one on eBay, and it actually came with like a whole neophyte sprue, which I absolutely loved. And then I opened up the book, I thought it would just be building instructions. It's got whole ass missions for like Combat Patrol, so I'm actually pretty excited about that. So let me go ahead and put us on a quick break while I grab me a quick drink. When I come back, we'll take a look at this Combat Patrol magazine, if you've never seen one. Maybe you guys are more sophisticated than I am and you have seen one before. Maybe it's just me. right, I will see you guys here in a few minutes. And we are back to the Midnight Drive. Appreciate all you guys watching and chitting and chatting away. I checked in, and yes, Neo Bro is absolutely watching. He's like, I hear you talking shit there. He's a funny guy. All right. Let's get back to painting our neophyte a little bit. Hey, Swark, what's going on, buddy? Thanks, Swark, and a mighty chow to you as well, buddy. I appreciate it. Thanks for swinging by and saying howdy. And I also have this Combat Patrol magazine to check out. They're actually pretty cool. I have number 65 here. And it has a whole little like story blurb about like war zones. It's kind of cool. This has this is really cool. So it's a it's a lore for a 4-player Combat Patrol campaign between the Imperium, the Gene Stealer Cult, which are the good guys, obviously, the Orcs, and the Tau Empire. So the first mission, well, that's weird. The first mission is Chaos versus Leagues of Votann, which are neither of those, but that's alright. The second mission is Leagues of Votann versus Orcs. It even tells you, it even gives you a whole like victory blurb on like depending on who wins. See if I can get this on camera. So it says like Votann victory, and it gives you like a whole little blurb. That's really cool. Yeah, if you guys can find these for cheap, the shipping will absolutely kill you because I think they come from the UK. but they have like missions, how to play, specialty stuff, what forces to set up, and I guess it's the combat patrol that you get from these actual magazines too. So it's kind of cool. It's like one squad versus, instead of like 500 points or 500 points, it's like one squad versus one squad. That's really cool. What a neat thing. I like it because it came with a neophyte sprue. Or probably one with a mining laser and a seismic cannon, which I'm like, hell yeah. Let's head to Kit Bash. Alright. Let's get back to painting this guy. I'm going to turn back up the light so I can see better. I know it kind of washes out on the stream, but it helps my tired old eyes. Alright, we got his leather. Now let's work on his armor and his weapons. I think I have like a whole bunch of like little small knives I gotta go and put on all these guys, you know? So that's the cool thing. Another cool thing about neophytes versus Imperial Guardsmen is when you check the data sheet. So a neophyte, just a regular boxing or neophyte hybrid, they have at bare minimum an auto pistol, a hybrid firearm, and a close combat weapon, which is another reason why I like to like kind of use them as like my hive scum ex gangers, because you know they always have an auto pistol tucked away. It's not just like hey, I have a last gun and a close combat weapon. They also have an auto pistol, you know, so that's actually kind of cool. You know, carrying around all these pistols like that, I think that kind of comes in handy. I think it's Soul Rule 11. I haven't seen it yet, where you could fire pistols in melee, you know, so that's actually kind of cool. Yeah, I'm not about to. I say that maybe over time. I don't think I'm gonna like mark a holster on every single model. Not only would it be time consuming and expensive, but more importantly, I think a lot of them, by sheer nature of being like ex gangers or high scum or enforcers, I think they naturally like have it tucked away, you know, like the old Saturday Night Special, they got tucked in a boot somewhere for when their issued weapon runs dry. Yeah, every time I find a bargain on eBay, if I don't jump on it quickly, it's gone. I've seen a couple Gene Sealers go for pretty good cheap, but they get snatched up pretty quick. All right. We're looking for our Black Legion paint. So that's Abaddon Black. Some others. Close but no cigar. Yeah, I'm actually enjoying this Black Legion. I like it. Ooh, Max out Von Ryan's. Oh, I love that it has the name Von Ryan. You know, like some poor dude, some poor fat discovered them and then got like slaughtered by him, so the name stuck, you know? I like that. Nice. I know it's weird because I'm a Gene Stealer player, but I'm actually not that big of a Nids guy. I don't mind them, I just don't know that much about them. All I know is the one that I love, and that's the Pure Strain Gene Stealer. They've always been my favorite since, like, my... Talked about it last stream, since my Battlefleet Gothic and Space Hulk... Oh, dang it. My Battlefleet Gothic and Space Hulk days. So I love Pure Strain Gene Stealer. It's really the only kind of Tyranid I like. I wouldn't say the only kind of Tyranid I like, maybe the only kind of Tyranid I know, I think would be a better way of saying that. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I got a lot of Pure Strains pretty cheap on eBay, and then I was lucky enough that Squidfist also reinforced me with a whole bunch of really well-painted Pure Strains. If he's alright with it, I'll actually show them off on stream real quick. Let me mute. Actually, Squidfist, do you mind if I show off your well-painted Pure Strains you sent me? Let me know if that'll bother you or not. If you're cool with it, I'll show them off. Alright, let me grab them real quick. Alright, let's take a look at these bad boys. Look at that. I got a little multicolored light on so you can kind of see the effects. Look at these blue-backed ones. Oh, good. Look at the basing. The basing looks good. Oh, loving it. Even did some with like red backs. I like that you can already see my like kind of color changing light. So imagine these guys like running down a dark alley and with like their shadows casted by the neon light, just like the intro song, you know. All you see is some shadows in between the neon lights, and you just get jumped. It's like, why are they so good at urban warfare? I'm like, I don't know. Turns out it's like having 20 Gene Stealers. They look so good, man. Nah, they look so good. Ooh, that's a cool idea. I may do that. Yeah, I'll say I did really like the basing. I really like the urban style basing of it. So if you notice, I actually took the idea from MG for fast and quick and easy basing. I do Astro Granite. I do Astro Granite on it, and then I do Null and Oil over it, and it kind of gives like a very simple urban kind of look to it. Now you can improve this while you can draw like yellow lines or like do all sorts of cool stuff to make it look a little bit more better or special. But I like it as just a cheap, because that's the other thing. If I'm running like 120 or 100 neophytes, I want a basing that I can do pretty simply. But yeah, I like your quick crate, man. This stuff looks great. actually really like it. Not gonna lie, I'm actually... Let me know if it's annoying, but I'm having too much fun with my mood lighting. Kind of a huge fan. I think it's kind of cool. I may do that, and I may add that to some of my terrain. Actually, I may take that tip, Squid Fist, and I may use that for some of my terrain stuff. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not. Those look so good that I'm not repainting them. You know, there'll always be like a different kind of hive fleet on the city. I kind of like that. I have mine. I have my older sculpts from like, I say older. I think mine are older. Mine are like the old Space Hulk ones. I'm probably gonna repaint those for like classic style. But I'm gonna leave those exactly how they are. I like them. I like the desert look of them, you know. And actually, what this would be good for, because you know I'm building that boat. You know, so imagine like the sump, or like so the sump's kind of like, imagine a bilge, but instead of on a boat, it's like a bilge for a whole city. So I think these would be really good sewer ones, you know, kind of running in that like nasty kind of bilge water or sewer water. I think that'd be great. Yeah, I think I'm gonna copy that idea, Squid Fist. I appreciate it. Let me put these guys. Actually, no, I'll leave them out. They look great. Let's not hide their beautifullness. Let's leave them out. I don't know. I was kind of toying around with the idea of putting like capes or like kind of cloaks on my other Gene Stealer, Pure Strain Gene Stealers. Like they're kind of like hiding who they are, but I think it looked too comical. I kind of shied away from it. What Decepticon are you talking about? You talking about the car? That spot, you'll tell me what you're talking about. I'm not sure. So that's something we'll do next week on stream if I can find it. I was watching a YouTube video. Oh yeah, no. So the white car, that's a Ridge Runner. That's a custom Kit Bash Ridge Runner for like my Necromunda Vice kind of feel. So it's white with like purple slats. Here, I'll show it a little bit closer on camera so you can see it. So yeah, it's got like purple slats. It's got the heavy stubborn. It's got a heavy mining laser on top. Like, that's run amok. That's a Decepticon. That's cool to know. Nothing wrong with Transformers. I was always just more of a G.I. Joe guy. I read the crossover comics a couple times. They're alright. It's not really that big of a... Nothing against Transformers. Just like, you know, Transformers versus G.I. Joe. I always kind of just picked G.I. Joe. I think I forgot to carve the Aquila off. Let me do that real quick. Nothing like carving off an Aquila right off the rifle to show you're no longer Imperial Guard. Yeah, I had some terrain in that I need to like build and paint, but I was really in the mood to just paint some models. So after I finished the Ridge Runner, I just wanted to get started on a Guardsman. I thought it'd be a fight. See, like I'm already calling a Guardsman. And there we go. Focus, focus. There's one less Aquila. I'm glad you like it, Squidfist. Yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like just super chilled, laid back, you know, like the midnight drive, just hanging out. Glad you guys are liking the vibes that I gotta put out. I am a bit of a, it's a running joke between my brother and I. I'm a bit of a theme whore. I like to go all in with my themes. So when I redid the stream, I was like, I want to go Genes to their cult, because there's, again, plenty of good Genes to their cult channels, looking at Nexus, Floof, and Von Karlstein a little bit. I know he also does Sisters and Agents and stuff like that. But I don't think there's anyone streaming that I saw for Genes to their cult. So I'm like, let me create more of a Gene Stealer, like, social kind of stream, you know? So I wanted to have cool Gene Stealer vibes. Well, it's funny. So, Dustbots, that's funny because that's kind of what we're going for the whole Miami Vice. So it's funny that that's what they did in the show. They made them brothers. Like a lot of people say Crockett and Tubbs were like brothers, you know? But yeah, one car is going to be white and the other car is going to be black because he had a black Daytona and he had a white Testarossa. Oh, Squidward Sean, if you're still here, I don't think I ever showed you this. But here's your guy in my army. You are Major Rico Tubbs. Your suit's gonna be gray, and I'm gonna give you a pink undershirt. And of course, you got that sawed off 12 gauge. Wouldn't be Rico Tubbs without it. And you're actually the Nexus, so you can see the hologram in his hand. Tubbs is right. I'm probably bigger than you are. But yeah, this is our Crockett. I had to carve away his tie, but when I paint it, you'll be able to see it. It's gonna be a very kind of like casual suit, you know. And this radio hand's gonna get replaced with that needle pistol. Yeah, so he's gonna have, I think he's gonna have his white linen. He's gonna have his white pants, his white suit jacket, you know, and he's gonna have a like a teal undershirt. Dude, Squiggle Sean's the least I could do, man. You've helped me out so much. Not just with models, gifts, and stuff like that, but nah. As a fellow Miami Vice enjoyer, I want to make sure that you're the Ricardo Tubbs guy. And same thing, if you want a quote-unquote named model, just to make sure you leave a comment on these streams, you know, and I'll when I get around to it, I'll write your name like on the back of these like little neophyte guys. I'll make you a neophyte. All right, let's get back to painting this gun. Now they got his Aquila off. The model reminds me. Yeah, it is a very. It does. You're right. It does look like Wesker. So he's actually a. He was. Let's see if the camera can focus. I had to do a lot of carving, so I kind of like carved away a lot of detail regarding that a little bit. When it focuses, he's actually a commissioner. Yeah, I can see where you say Wesker. He's actually a Commissioner Gordon. Is what it originally was. Was a Commissioner Gordon. Oh, nice! I've never seen that animation before. Someone actually subscribed. That's really cool. I've never seen that pop up before. Nice. New things. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate it. So yeah, we're gonna replace it with a needle pistol. But yeah, it was a Commissioner Gordon, but it was the right hair, the right kind of build, and a short enough jacket that kind of went for what I was looking for. Beat the pigs off. Thanks, Brady. I appreciate it. Glad you like it. Yeah, same thing for my Nexus. I went for like very like Sarah Kerrigan style cyberpunk models because they're supposed to be like bodyguard units that are bodyguards of like important people in the Resistance. So that's why they're all like katana wielding, multi-clawed. So these things, they have like multiple attacks. They give a unit's fights first, and they're absolutely deadly in close combat. Yeah, if a unit has a Nexus, they're gonna have some claws in close combat. Yeah, welcome to the new sub. Let's see who it is. I can read. I can sound out. Oh, I don't think it's updated. Oh no. Yeah, it has Count Crimson. Awesome. Count Crimson, hey, thanks for subscribing. We appreciate it. Welcome to the Midnight Drive, your late night GSC social club. There it is. It's updated. Cool. Yeah. All the tinkering I did at OBS works. I'm definitely going to try and finish this Guardsman. Maybe not base. I'm going to try and finish this Guardsman for the end of the stream. We'll see. I know I don't get near as much painting done. I'll sit here for like 3 hours and I'll chit chat, tell the same story. It's like the infamous River Pirates of Sacramento, you know, and then not get halfway through my my painting. But anyways, I found a video that found some really cheap, kind of cool looking toys and used it to make some really good terrain for 40K. And I found that box, so I gotta look through my hobby cabinet that I'm cleaning through. That's why I was able to find all my Orcs in the way. If I can find that box of like cheap little dinosaur toys, but it had like this fence and crane that's like the perfect size, unknowingly. So if I can find it, I'll hopefully have it ready to paint on stream next week. That'll be awesome. And I also like that all my neophytes look different. So you have some of these guys like the old Guardsman sculpts. You have actual like neophytes. Like a lot of the heavy weapon guys are actually like the 2 or 3 armed guys. You know, you have some that are like my ex-hive gangers. That thing's pretty cool. You have some that kind of look like some that kind of look like this. You know, with like the punk hair and the punk aesthetic and stuff like that. I like this very hodgepodge style unit. Mad Larkin, what's going on, buddy? We were just talking about you. Thanks for all the help in setting up the ideas to play a chill 40K game. I think they're gonna go over real well. The twist we talked about, you know, true line of sight, basically removing the solid rule from terrain, having vehicles that don't deadly demise stay on the map and act as cover, and the whole like little weapon table we made for like making craters. I think combining that with a fun map and doing the whole thing like you said, where your disposition is your primary and you just sack any kind of secondary, so it's just your disposition, you know? I think that'll be great. As long as you do it on a really fun kind of map, you know, I think it's good, and with people who want to play that. And that's the key, you know, never force anyone to play your kind of game. If it's fun enough, people will want to play it, you know? It's like I don't want to tell people how to play the game. I just want to tell them, like, hey, this is how I like to play. Maybe we should try it, you know? I think it'll go over well. So same thing with their guns. I like to give them the wooden stocks just to kind of make it look a little bit more beat up. Yeah, and so that's the other thing too. I tried Crusade. Brady was there. I fell apart from my Crusade. Just like my stream, I disappeared like a dad to the liquor store for cigarettes, you know. We had a Crusade. It went for a little while. It's so much paperwork. It's so much to keep track of. It's worse than D&D. It was cool and it was fun, don't get me wrong, but it was so much work. So I'm trying to find something that's like a middle ground, you know, narrative play without all the paperwork of Crusade. So I think establishing these chill rules will be the first step, and then we can do something where something kind of carries on from game to game. I don't think like experience in certain units, but I think, I'm glad you like the basing on it, man. It came out pretty well. pretty happy. Yeah, the basing's worth every penny. I'm so glad I bought 4 of these bases so I can have 4 Ridge Runners. I think it came out pretty well. It kind of sells that vibe. I think the purple slats in the windows kind of make it very cyberpunky, very Miami Vice. Quick under shot, we don't talk about the Orchid Towers of Singapore, and you're the reason why we never go on the top floor, so don't give me that. Oh yeah, and you can see the awesome pure strains that Squidfist gifted me. Squidfist gifted me some more pure strains so I can run a lot of pure strains. So it's fun to have like a whole big army because I can run different kind of lists if I want. Like if I really want, I can just take all the ones that boost my pure strains and just run absolutely nasty GSC lists. That's what I kind of feel like. I like that. And right now we're working on these 10 old school guardsmen. I replaced the heads with these kind of chemical heads from Anvil. This is the one for paint right now. Let me get the camera back in focus. Focus, Mr. Camera. Machine Spirit, I beseech thee. Machine Spirit, I beseech thee, or I shall beat thee. Your choice. There you go, focused. Sometimes sometimes the toaster only knows the lash. I swear I saw that joke about like I think it was a skit on YouTube where some guy was like standing in for his crimes against robots. And they were like interviewing him. It's like, hey, is it true that you did this? Like, no, I would never, my robot overlords. Like, really, here's an audio recording of like 2020. It's like screaming at Alexa. If the robots ever rise up and hold us accountable to the things we said to AI, I'm 100% the first person who's gonna swing. I promise. I am not polite to my machinery. Yeah, Brady, I'm gonna order that pack and take a look at it. That might be exactly what I'm looking for. Well, it's funny. Actually, like what I was thinking is, I was thinking about tinkering with command points, and the way it works is like if you have a mission, let's say like we have an operation that's like a month long, you know, and you can do missions that affect whether your side wins that mission or not. You get so many command points for the month, and you divide them amongst the 3 players. You know, so you talk amongst your team like, hey, I use a lot of command points when I play. You know, I need this many. So you can kind of like maybe control your allotment of command points. I'm not sure how it's gonna work. So then you could go up in a game where one guy has like 10 and you have like none, but then his buddies will have more. So I mean, it may kind of feels bad. I'm just theory crafting here. It may take some fine tinkering, but I do kind of miss one thing. I like your command points tied to your. What I'm thinking maybe this is controversial, right? This may screw everyone's plans, and I don't want to affect how they play their list. But on some of these games, what I'm thinking to make it is we may tie your command points to your detachment points. You know, so you get command points for the detachments. We may maybe do something like that. I guess I don't know. I think I'm just thinking out loud. I think that was 8th who started doing that, 8th or 9th. I think it was 8th. I don't know. I don't want to tinker too much command points because it's like tied to a lot of cool stratagems and abilities and things like that. I don't know. My goal is to kind of not really speed the game up, but to make the game. Yeah, as I said, so UCP more than others. So what I'm thinking, so my goal is to not necessarily speed up the games, but to add in more fun randomization. Now, randomization is never fair, right? But to add in like wanted randomization, I think that's going to be kind of cool. What we may do is since there's no secondaries, we may put a bonus objective on a mission. you know, like slay the warlord or capture this one building, and we'll randomly pick the building, and whoever captures it gets 1 CP. You know, so it's like, oh, is it worth the risk to go out there and capture it? I could get that CP, and I could use that CP to pull something off. I don't know, maybe. We'll see. We shall. I think that takes a lot of tinkering. I know like what you can easily tinker with and what is, you know, very like tied to the core. And be careful what you dick with, because I think you'll upset some stuff. So I think that's something not to tinker with lightly. We'll see. But I think all the other stuff. I think the vehicle staying on the board. I think doing actual asymmetrical and more narrative cool style tables. I think doing craters when you miss that act also again as cover, and I think removing dents from cover. I think when you incorporate all that stuff, I think that's enough without dabbling too much. I think that's enough to still play 11th and still feel like 11th, but just feel a little bit more, lack of a better term, a little bit more bolt actiony, you know? Because same thing, if you keep trying to move your troops up through that same main supply, that avenue of approach, you know, they just keep knocking out your vehicles. Yeah, no, I kind of like stuff like that. Yeah, so you could have like comms jamming, or, you know, one is like a abandoned minefield where no one knows where they're marked. You know, you put like random spots on the map. You walk over there, you roll a dice, like on a 2 through 6, it's a dud, but like on a 1, it's a live mine. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh god, it's funny because it's like a real world experience. You know, this old fucking Soviet landmines and Bagram that were everywhere from like the 70s. You're like, oh god. I think that would be a good one, and just like randomly pick, like have one person, you take turns putting down like where you want the landmines, you know, and then roll a scatter dice for each one to shift them a little bit, and then anytime someone steps or a vehicle steps on it, you know, you roll a dice, and if it's a dud, you remove it from play, no big deal, and if it's not a dud, whoops. Yeah, there's a lot. So that's the other thing too. There's a lot of cool missions when you dig around. That Combat Patrol magazine I just got, it had some cool missions. All the narrative, the Crusade stuff had really cool missions. Actually, Brady, if you're still in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably wrong here. But didn't you play a mission in the Crusade where you had like, it was like a fighting retreat basically? I think you started like in the middle of the map and you had to make it off the table, and I think like the enemy was chasing you or something like that. Brady's like, yes. Well, buddy, if it's not too much trouble, if you're not too busy, let us know how that worked for you. Did you enjoy it? Was it fun? Who'd you fight? What was chasing you? Oh god, I hope it wasn't. Let me give him a nickname too. Oh no, I'll use. Yeah. I hope it wasn't our buff buddies. I said buff, by the way, buff buddy. So I hope it wasn't our buff buddies, World Eaters. That'd be terrifying. I started everything on the board. Yeah, it was Niels. Okay, yeah, Niels' his name. It was Niels. World Eaters came in on turn 2 and had to chase me down. It was fun. Yeah, so that's the kind of missions I like. I want to do like a fighting retreat. So I think that I think a mission like that would be fun to do, like a 2v2, you know, because you're like, hey, we will like basically take turns leapfrogging and covering the other one while you basically spend your whole turn just like running, you know. And your infantry are like taking up buildings and like staying behind, doing the ultimate hero thing. Like, we'll hold this, you guys make it. Tell my wife I love her. It's like some World Eater comes up and just absolutely chain backs you from your chin to your taint. Oh man. See, it's stuff like that I think is a lot of fun. Because think about that. That happened several months ago, and we're still kind of chit-chatting about it. Granted, I asked, but... I'm still really sad that World Eaters don't get chain bayonets. Like, Gears of War style. I think that should absolutely be a thing. Yeah, so I dropped up those rules, and I'll play test them a little bit here in my garage and see how I like them. And if it works, I think I'll make a post like that and maybe even make a video. And of course, I'm going to give credit to the chat and of course Mad Larkin for helping me come up with it. I think having a fun, easy list of small things to put in there, like it's kind of like if you ever played like Unreal Tournament back in the day, you put in like a little bit of like mods, you know. Just change it just like a little bit, you know, make the game just a little bit different, but a little bit more fun. Or kind of like, if they would like skulls from Halo, you know, just increase the difficulty and just change things a little bit. Yes, Squidfist. So I've seen that. Squidfist, there's a great video. I forget who does it. I think it's Play on Tabletop. It's one of the mini missions that I want to try and simulate, and I think we're definitely going to do it in the Indiana meetup. The big guard battle it's a train robbery. I think they have it's Gene Stealer Cult versus Cult of Speed, and they're doing a train robbery. It's so cool. They have vehicles moving on the outside of the train, and they have troops fighting on the train, and they're trying to get their vehicles next to the train to offload packages from the flatbeds. And what it is that you're exactly right. The terrain moves, you know, 6 inches every turn to show, you know, movement of the train in the terrain. If you get caught by it, it'll smash you and take you off the board. Yeah, so like I said, that's the kind of stuff that's like legendary, you know, like a great train robbery. Oh man, I'm not sure. I think CB Cooper left, but if he's still here, that would be a fun game. I would love to see his Outlander Claw doing a train robbery. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. And Brady, I appreciate you talking about what happened on that mission. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I like to play. I mean, that stuff is just absolutely fun. Yeah, what else would be cool? Speedboats? Yeah, oh god, why do you do this to me? That's very Miami Vice. I do have one boat coming in. I followed Commander HHL's idea. And I ordered, speaking of Transformers, I ordered an old G.I. Joe toy, a Cobra Piranha. I ordered that in to kit bash it into a, like a speedboat. I'm going to use it as like counts as a centaur, but I'm only ever going to use it on the water, you know? Well, Squidfist, it's like I talked about, you know, when I did paintball. Like, there's a difference between woods ball and speedball. They all have their place, and certain people like to play certain things, and I get that. So I think if you're running an event and you want to get as many games in as you can and get the most out of your day off, you know, you have to, if you're trying to go for quantity, you'll have to change up the quality. And by quality, I mean like the creativity, you know? So yeah, in order to get as many people through there as much as possible, you're going to have to, you know, build like a 1990s laser tag arena, you know, or like, you know, at least they're standing on terrain and not circles anymore. It's a little better, but yeah, the whole mirror thing, I get it. It's fair, but fair isn't creative either, you know? Yeah, woods ball is how we used to run it. Yeah, I played woods ball and I played MagFed. MagFed paintball was an absolute blast. It's like playing with like sim rounds, but not as sophisticated. Like I said, I don't want to tell anyone how to play the game. You play how you want to play. I get why you do it that way, you know? But I know what I like. And I can tell you from my personal experience, because I've seen people playing like 40K, and I've noticed people notice and not notice. and maybe it's just because I'm loud. I don't know. Probably that's what it is. I'm loud. But when we play in a store, when we set up a custom mission, you know, I feel like it really gets people's attention. Whether it's doing a night paired trooper drop on Malta, you know, with RK at Warpfire, or when I did a battle for Tijuana with my buddy Sam for Conflict 47 First Edition, and we built a whole actual town of Tijuana. No, Squigger Shine, I always say that. I ordered those bases, and they're worth every penny. They look absolutely amazing. It's the same base that's on this Ridge Runner, the color shifting one. Same kind of base. I think it adds to the whole cyberpunk Miami Vice feel. We're gonna go a little bit later. I know it's already 3 o'clock, but I kind of get a little bit more paint on this guy before I call it a night. Hopefully it's cool with you guys. Yeah, don't give me huge problems. Yeah, everyone says, like, oh, that model looks awesome. Like, hey, disclaimer, I bought the base. I only painted the model. I definitely don't want people to think I did that, because that works awesome, yeah. But definitely worth it. The base makes it, man, 100%. Yeah, I'm enjoying the vibes. And same thing, so even they were a little pricey, but I think they're worth it. But looking at it, because I only got 4. I got 4 of those big bases for the 4 Ridge Runners I plan to run. Now I think I'm going to go back and get them for my bikes. So I'm going to do each bike a different color, you know, kind of like the Tiger Claw gang from Cyberpunk, you know. Every bike's going to be very Aquila-like, you know, customizable. I am excited to see season 2. Season 1 of Cyberpunk of Edge Runners was really, really good. It was, to me, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm an older guy, but it reminded me of older anime that I really liked. Like, it felt a lot more like Samurai Champloo, Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop. Like, it had that, I mean, granted it was much better. Like, emotionally it was a roller coaster and it kicked you in the dick. But as far as like the graphics and the storytelling and the quality, it reminded me of that older, that we talk about, the Adult Swim Midnight Run Toonami style. It had that classic kind of anime vibe to it. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I think they did a great job. And unlike Fallout, I think they did a good job of incorporating on the success of that show and incorporating it into Fallout 2077. Yeah, it's kind of a fast moving. It's in a good way. It's a fast moving anime. It kind of reminds me almost more of like the Animatrix, you know, like it's a really cool way of storytelling. I think they do a good job with the Cyberpunk. And also, it's one of those things, I think Cyberpunk, like the world of Cyberpunk, is well told through anime because of the colors and the art style. I think it actually lends itself really well to being done in an anime format, you know? A good example, the Lord of the Rings, the Ride of Rohirrim or whatever, and it's like an anime style. I don't think that works that well for Lord of the Rings. I think classic Western animation, or like rotoscoped, I think it's kind of cool. You know, like the classic, what's the, maybe you guys can help me. There's an artist out there. He recently passed away. I'm sorry I don't know his name. He was famous for his like rotoscoping and his like classic sword and sorcery style animated fantasy stuff. It was like Fire and Ice, Wizards. Was it Bachi? Is that his name? I'm not sure. But like that classic style looks great, and that would look good for Bakshi. Thank you. Yeah, when he did Lord of the Rings, I think it works well for that style, like the kind of art you see on the side of someone's van, like in the 70s or 80s. It's kind of peak, you know. I think that animation style is good for Lord of the Rings, but I think traditional Japanese style animation maybe not so much. It's cool they tried it, but I don't think it worked that well. Versus for Cyberpunk, I think it works great. The colors, the style, because it already has a very heavy Asian influence, you know, especially because the corporations like Arasaka and stuff. I think it was a great fit, actually. Just like I think if they did a retelling of Blade Runner, but in anime format, like a very mature anime, I think it would be good. I'm not saying I want remake slop, but I'm saying, like, I think the cyberpunk genre itself is able to be told in anime format without really losing anything. But like mature style anime, not the... Yeah, it did seem like an odd choice. Yeah, I was like, huh, that's definitely a choice. But you know what? Sometimes you hit and miss. I'll at least give them stones for trying. At least they did something different. I will say, if you are looking for old school anime recommendations, if you've never seen Afro Samurai, I cannot recommend that highly enough. That is an absolute banger of a classic. I'm amazed Samuel L. Jackson didn't get some kind of award for his performance on that anime. Oh man, it's like a time capsule of awesomeness, and it has, I'm pretty sure it's RZA. I think RZA and some other people of Wu-Tang Clan like did a lot of the music and the soundtrack for it. It's just a whole, as cliche as it sounds, it's a whole ass vibe. If you're into like Wu-Tang Clan and like early 2000s and stuff like, oh yeah, Afro Samurai is fantastic. The music's good, the style is cool. It's a very stylized style anime. It's very anachronistic too. So you have like samurais fighting like guys with like rocket launchers, and there's like a mechanized bear, and it's all over the place. All right, so we got his boots. I mean, it's my preference. I think anime reflects the time. You know, the people who like the anime at that time, that's their style. That's fine. You know, I'm not gonna say the anime I like is better than other people's anime. You know, it's just what I prefer. You know, those are my big ones: Outlaw Star, Cowboy Bebop, Afro Samurai, Gundam. 8th Mobile Suit Team was good. What was Samurai Shampoo? Samurai Shampoo is an absolute classic. That was actually, so I think he just recently passed away, but the guy, I think it's the guy who did the music for Samurai Shampoo, he's known as like the father, or now the grandfather or godfather of lo-fi music, like the whole like lo-fi study music. He was the guy who really pioneered that and made it really popular. Not saying it's the first guy, I'm saying he's the guy who really made it popular. And actually, it used to be the OG intro song for the stream back in the day, especially when it was Too Late Tonight with Tiki, as it was at Battlegrounds. Did he pass away a while ago? I thought it was pretty recently, but sadly. But yeah, if you really like Firefly and Serenity, you may like Outlaw Stars, a little bit more wild and weird and out there, but the storyline is almost beat for beat the exact same thing. Ironically enough, they came out very close together. Alright, I think that's where we're going to stop today on this guardsman. We got his armor done, his weapon done. I gotta fix his pants, I missed the spot. We got his leather jacket done. We're still going to do his, the metal on the bayonet, his hands, and his faceplate. And then base him. Oh, that's actually pretty good. I'm happy with that. Oh, and his shoulder pads. But yeah, I'm so happy I grabbed these guys. I saw that 10-man list at a good price. I think it was like 20 bucks. For like 10 guys, I was like $2 a model for guardsmen. I'll take it. And I saw those heads, and I was like, ooh, I got a kit bashing idea. And they're gonna look good because they're not all gonna be in the same squad. So I'm gonna disperse them in all the different squads, you know, and make it look like a really good, that whole Scratch Company vibe, you know. All right, make sure I did everything we talked about. Yeah, we finished our car. We talked about where the tire trunk monkey comes from. Turns out Screwcutter Sean was a trunk monkey, which is hilariously ironic, like an OG trunk monkey where the trunk comes from. Definitely look up the trunk monkey commercials. They're worth it. I promise you. Just go to YouTube and type in trunk monkey. It's phenomenal. There's probably like whole ass compilations of it. Oh yeah, we built our last space haw, our space Chi-Ha tank, which is nice. We got some accessories coming in to kind of kit them out and make them a little bit more specialized. We showed off some of our hero models, and yeah, we almost fully painted one guardsman. No, I know it doesn't look like much for 3 hours, but you know, I had fun. Hopefully you guys did too. The reason why I kind of slowed down the paintings, I'm waiting for my can of Chaos Black spray primer to come in, because I'm excited to start working on these tanks and also to get this vehicle painted. I think this Jeep's going to be purple. I think it's what we're going for. So, but hey, not bad. You know, 3 days we got a whole Ridge Runner built and painted. And some paint on another model. I'll take that. That's not a bad work for 3 days. I appreciate you guys joining the stream. Appreciate you guys kind of showing up and watching, especially the last 2 days. Some of you guys have been in it like day for day for day, you know, in all 3 days, which is actually pretty cool. Let me know what you guys feel about the show. You have been very kind, so I appreciate that. I'm not fishing necessarily for compliments. Hopefully, don't think that. But hopefully the times work well for you guys. That's what I've been kind of aiming for. It's newer. I used to just do the weekends and stuff like that, but now I'm kind of doing more of like a race to the weekends. You know, it works better with my schedule now with 2 gigs. But doing the whole midnight to 3 a.m. We have it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, so it kind of like sets you up for the weekend. Hopefully, it's helping you get some paint on your models, helping you chat, and also hopefully, you know, it's a cool place for G0 players to hang out, and guards players. Anybody's welcome, of course. But hopefully we can convince some guard players to take that extra step, pick up those few models, and maybe start running some Gene Stealer lists. Now's the time. You got nothing to lose and everything, including an extra arm to gain. So let me know, has this stream got you to maybe think about Gene Stealer? You know, maybe, who knows? But if not, no worries. Hopefully it's kind of a cool vibe. It's what we definitely went for. Very, very vibe heavy, including even with like, we even now have like colored lights, which is kind of cool. You know, kind of gives that light effect. But may your timelines never merge, my friends. take the extra arm. But so we'll pick this up again next week. So it'll be for me, anyways. It'll be Thursday at midnight, you know, EST. And hopefully we'll be painting some tanks. Maybe we're doing a little bit of terrain in between. We'll see. I'm excited to try and do my camo netting paint job with these tanks. I think it may turn out kind of cool. Hopefully they turn out black and purple. And it should give kind of like a very like cyber looking vibe, kind of like Far Cry Blood Dragon's kind of what we're going for. You'll see when it gets done. But I think that's it for this week, and we're here at the weekend. You guys joined for the midnight drive. We took you all the way to the weekend. So as always, I hope you guys stay safe, stay hydrated. Don't forget to relax today. You're on Tiki time.